Testing, testing. Okay, we are live. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. We had another Drifter Diaries Part 3. Drifter Diaries Part 3. Thank you for tuning in. I'm behind on Sea of Thieves. We're going to head to Safe Seas. Should I do a brig just because? Yeah, let me do a brig. Just because. I'm going to continue on with Drifter Diaries. This is Part 3. I noticed that I haven't done any Chautauqua, in how long has it been? It's been a very long time since I've done any modern day Chautauqua, and I was reading for the next book review, which is Effed Wide Open by Maria West, the divine sacred feminine, I might add. But my jaw is in pain, and I think my brain just kind of wants to sleep because of that. So I was kind of falling asleep. Felt my eyes getting heavy while I was reading Maria West's Effed Wide Open, and I think I have to wake up early in the morning and find a dentist that will allow a punk rock fucking hooligan to come in without insurance so I can fix my jaw. Because there's definitely, I think I have an infection. It started like last year when I was working at MEAC, the Elkhart venue that I helped dude open up the Elkhart venue. Michiana Education and Arts Club. Helped him do that, and then that was kind of really when it started. I started getting mouth pain. He gave me some antibiotics that he ordered from Amazon, and it kind of went away. And then now that the pain has come back, it made me flashback to when I lived in West Virginia. And when I worked at Kroger, I actually remembered calling off of work because of tooth pain. Just because of tooth pain, I called off work. And I laid in bed literally all day with Squirt Doc. Is that the graveyard? That's the new one? Is the Graveyard Gladiator the new one? Living Depths? That is sick. I'm going to do the Graveyard Gladiator because I think I just unlocked that. Is that the one that was on the Twitch drops? I don't know. I was just doing the Sea of Thieves Twitch drops. I'm going to do this one. That one looks sick. Actually, I'm going to go with the gold. Gotta go with the gold. But anyways, so my jaw is in pain and it makes me want to sleep, but I have to wake up early to find a dentist, so I can't sleep because I already slept until like noon. Me and Squirt slept in today. No, I think we slept in until 1. But you know, I always stay up late. So I'm forcing myself to stay awake. And I noticed I haven't done the Chautauqua, and it said 4 weeks? It's been 4 weeks since I've read any Drifter Diaries? That's kind of unbelievable. Like, where is the time gone? All I have been doing was working. I haven't done anything. Working and paying bills. And now I'm in pain. So it's like, what the hell? Where's Glitterbeard? I need Glitterbeard for Matt Bennett. He looks like Matt Bennett. The sales. Let's go. Let's go with the Sovereign. No, let's go with the Rare logo. Because what the hell has Rare been doing? I don't know what the hell Rare has been up to lately, but they're fucking shit up. They're literally rearranging chairs on the Titanic. Merchant Alliance. That looks like a sick cannon. We'll go with that. I think I got my Twitch drops. I can't tell. And we go with the pride flag. Brighten up the wilds for the Matt Bennett. As the last episode, Matt Bennett was S and some D at the party. You know? But I'm also doing this because we have, hopefully we have a very special guest tonight on Crazy Life Stories, which is Matt Bennett is the host of Crazy Life Stories, and Matt Bennett is the author of Drifter Diaries. Actually, I'll leave these lights on. And I'm going to stay parked here, too. Might take off and go sailing. Who knows? We'll see. But just in case, I'll get this going here. All right, well, let's get to the Drifter Diaries. Where I left off, Matt was S and some D at the party. He left the party to go S this dude's D. And then he came back to the party, and everybody was super happy. And then he started talking about Olivia, I think it was. We're going to go to the tavern as usual because, yeah. Yeah. My mouth hurts. And I'm behind. I'm so behind on the new book review. I might actually have to delay the new book review. But no, I don't want to. So I have basically 5 days to read 200 pages and transfer the notes of those 200 pages to record the book review. And I'm in pain, and it's hard to focus. So it's just amazing. I live in a great country with no health insurance. I've worked 40 hours the last 2 weeks, and I still have no health insurance. Like, make it make sense. My back hurts. My back is literally tweaked. My jaw is fucking in pain. I just want to cry. But instead of crying, I'm going to do a modern day Chautauqua for my man, Matt Bennett. Hopefully I don't, pass out or something on the live stream. My mouth will just start bleeding out of nowhere. Pretty amazing. Feels great. Life is good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. But anyways, I'm going to try to knock as many pages as I can out here. And where we left off was at the time they had dated. They were just friends. Now she was a classic single mother, blah, blah, blah. We had hung out before. I always had a hunch she liked me, though maybe it was the vodka-induced way she was acting. Who knows? So Slobo tells her that I'm living there as well, and one day she just shows up at my door. I'm drunk, she's drunk, and we go back to the apartment she was staying in. Talked and drank a couple vodka shooters, and went back to my place and hooked up. We broke my futon, so I guess we were going at it pretty good. Oh, it hurts to laugh. It actually hurts to laugh. That sucks. Going at it pretty good. We both agreed that this just felt right, so we thought we were going to see each other more. I gotta turn my brightness up on this phone for this chapter. We were going to see each other more. Just hooked up. We both agreed that we just felt right, so we're going to see each other more. I let her leave the next morning with my Jay Cutler jersey on. Then I didn't see her for a month. With people still coming in and out buying reefer, constantly partying and so on. I was going to sell to my buddy Gary and meet him at the liquor store, and all of a sudden there's Olivia. At this time, too, my friend Jeremy brought over this older lady, Drifter Marge, who also wanted me. Of course, I stuck with Olivia, but I told Marge she could crash for the night, so Olivia and I go to this liquor store in Oak Brook Terrace / Villa Park to sell this green. I had my parents' old Pontiac Montana at this point because I got the full-time job at Home Goods at Yorktown Mall in Lombard, Illinois. Noah's car had broken down by this time, so it was nice to have a car again. Anyways, we come back from the liquor store and everyone's just partying. I also had to go downtown to my friend Pish's PISH pre-bachelor party. So I asked Olivia if she would be my date. She asked if I'd buy her some drinks. I'm like, sure. So we went downtown with Noah, and this is literally like when you talk to Matt, this cracks me up because this is how Matt talks just in everyday conversation. It's he literally writes exactly how he talks. It's so funny. So we went downtown with Noah because Noah was going to a show, so I dropped him off. And then Olivia and I got super lost trying to find this bar and finally found it. Meanwhile, Marge was at my place after the night was over. We're going home, and Olivia met some guy, Brad, who ended up coming with us and was the most sober, so he drove home. All of a sudden, Brad and Olivia are hitting it off, and I'm all pissed thinking I'm stuck with Drifter Marge. So Brad and Olivia go back to their apartment she was staying in, which had two other crazy drunks, Dave and Don. I'm all pissed, and I go home and bitch at Marge a bit and go to sleep. I think Noah eventually made his way back to my apartment because he was there in the morning. That was Saturday night. Sunday, I had a Cubs game to go to for Pish's. Okay, that's not a typo. That's the person's actual name. Had to go to for Pish's bachelor party. I woke up late with Marge and Noah's still there. So I'm like, I gotta leave. Stay if you want to stay. Leave if you gotta leave. Marge tried to jump in the shower with me, and I turned her down. She said something like, "Oh, I guess we're not ready for this yet." And I'm like, "No, we're not." Matt Bennett, I love you. Dude, because like, man, I mean, maybe she's annoying. Like, oh, man, dude, shower pooling is awesome. Always shower pool. Save the water. I had to get some water. I feel like the more air hits my gums, the more it hurts. So I just have to constantly keep liquid in my mouth at all times. And it's kind of annoying. It's kind of weird. I'm talking like Jesse from Jesse's Tea House. Like I got a mouthful of tea. I'm about to have a mouthful of tea once I finish this glass of water. Speaking of tea, shit, it's the only thing that seems to be helping. And the caffeine will wake me up too for crazy life stories. I'm gonna be sloshed by the time we record the podcast tonight. Just saying, like I'm in so much pain. Shit sucks. I'm poor. Oh my god. Sunday I had a Cubs game. Oh yeah, no, we're not. I go to the Cubs game a little drunk behind the wheel. Game was fun. We were in this like VIP rooftop section. Good to hang with old friends. So I come back home expecting Marge to be there, but Olivia and her cat were just laying down on my futon. I guess she kicked Marge out. What? So that made me real happy that she came back, and then had another after party with Pish at his brother's house. So I kissed Olivia, telling her I'd be back later and apologize for having such a busy day/night. Came home from that, and Darcy was mine. We eventually moved her stuff in, and now she was here to stay. I'm working Monday through Friday at Home Goods, and Olivia's now, in quotes, hiding out in my apartment as I find out she had missed a couple of court dates and now had a warrant out for her arrest. So she kind of had to lay low. Jesus, Matt. Bro, why? Oh my god. Why you got these people coming in your house, man? One random day, I come home from work, and Olivia's friend Missy is just in a t-shirt and underwear drunk. My friend Dragon was also there to buy green, and when I walk in, we're both like, what the hell is going on? Olivia's nowhere to be found for a few minutes, and Missy is all over me saying things like, I hear you're a filmmaker and all this other crazy shit. That sounds awesome, dude. That's why he had him in his apartment. Shoot. It literally hurts. Like, I don't know how long I can go and do this. I might have to call off on the podcast, dude. Like, it hurts to talk. Should have just took a nap. I knew it. One random day, I come home from work, and Olivia's... Oh, I already read that. I hear you're a filmmaker. Olivia reappears in the laundry room, supposedly doing laundry. Dragon gets his green, and now I'm getting drunk with Olivia and Missy, which turned into a sob fest from them about how being a single mother is so hard. Next thing I know, I get Olivia and Missy kissing and making out on film and photo, and then Missy is pissed and I'm Olivia's man. Eventually, Missy leaves and Olivia and I resume our weird relationship. This is a crazy This is actually a crazy story. I don't remember reading this. Like I did the Drifter Diary book review, but I just like don't remember all this stuff. There's so many stories in this book. Ow. Um, a couple weeks later, it's like 6 a.m., and I'm getting ready to leave for work, and there's a random knock at the door. It was Rob again out of nowhere. After he got out of jail, he got this weird circus job with his European traveling circus. So he went off with them for a couple months. I remember selling a bunch of weed to the circus performers in Addison. Anyways, he took off with them, and then had them randomly drop him off in my apartment. He has a 50 in his hand and was like, "I'll pay you $50 a week to crash." I'm like, "Okay, you got cash? No problem." Even after the drunk madness arrest a few months ago. Yeah, I remember that story. I let him back in. Actually, he did show up after he got out of jail randomly too, but only staying the weekend then. So now Rob and Darcy are living with me, and I'm off to work. This is May 2013 by now. This is when Rob started to get extremely out of control. He would panhandle on Route 83 and St. Charles and just get enough money for a case of beer and a pack of cigs. He had a link card for food. He would not leave this chair I had in the apartment and just started piling up beer cans on the floor and just ashing all over. The place is getting extremely trashed, and it was getting harder to keep up with cleaning. Olivia would attempt to clean, but Rob would just mess up again. By the time I would get home from work, they both looked like they had been going at each other all day. Rob continued to panhandle every day, waking up at 4 p.m. to, in quotes, hit the streets. We would then drink beers all night, and I would buy Darcy a fifth of vodka daily because she was starting to get the shakes. It was just work, party for me. I would eventually go to work hungover every day. Eventually, my parents caught on again, and that day, Rob jumped out of the window and ran when my parents came over. He didn't even have shoes on. Olivia was in jail at this time because the cops were looking for her at the other apartment she was staying at, and one morning after missing a court date, she had just decided to turn herself in. I remember driving her to the train station before I went to work, and she took the train to DuPage County Jail. I would get letters from her in jail and would send her letters back. Weird new experience for me, that's for sure. Interesting, dude. So they were writing like I did the jail letters. I've wrote letters to multiple people in jail before, and it's just a weird experience, especially when you write letters to people in jail. They read everything. The people in the jail read the letter before the letter gets to the person that it's going to, and it's so fucking weird. So I always wrote the letter with that in mind, which is so, like a weird, bizarre invasion of privacy. You know, I get it. Like people are, yeah, you're in jail, you don't get privacy. I mean, you don't get privacy when you're outside of jail. Like, everybody deserves fucking piece of privacy, you know? But anyways, and then the chapter says, anyways, so now it's just Rob, Olivia's cat, and I living together. And as I mentioned, my parents caught on to all of this again and came over again. Noah and I had just gotten back from a weed run, and my parents were there waiting for me, obviously not happy at all. They were yelling at me about what I'm going to do after the apartment. I was just flipping out back at them. It was pretty ugly. June was the last month of the lease, and by this time there was not an actual eviction notice on the door, but more like a "you're most definitely not signing on for another year" type of deal. Oh man, that's hilarious. And I've had a few apartments, but I've never gotten that letter, which is wild because when I lived with my dad at that apartment, dude, the neighbors would stomp on the floor like when he would blare music all day, and he never would have I mean, sure, he would have parties where he'd have like his crackhead friends come over and they would drink shitty vodka and smoke crack and shit. Yeah, and still, he never got that letter. That's like crazy. I don't know, man. Dude, the slums are weird. Whenever you live in one of these slums apartments, I mean, none of the apartments that I had my own None of the apartments in my name were that ghetto. I had one in Mishawaka. That wasn't ghetto. It was just filled with old people, so you couldn't be loud at all. I couldn't play guitar. I had to go walk to the cemetery, which is ironic. I was surrounded by an apartment full of old people. I had to walk to the cemetery to go practice guitar. Or sometimes I would also go busking for reefer money. I would go to the Riverwalk and play until I got enough for a couple of grams of herbs. Man, those were the days though. Missed that apartment. Where was I? Parents were flipping out, got pretty ugly. You're most definitely not staying here for another year type of deal. So the apartment people were fed up as well. The clean at the end of the apartment at the end of the month was crazy. It took 2 solid days to clean. Are you shitting me, dude? How disgusting was this apartment? I don't want to know, but I am curious. Like 2 entire days of cleaning. How bad could it have been? It took two solid days to clean, but this was partly due to the fact that we decided to have an eviction party the last Saturday night. We attempted to pack with Noah, my friend Andy, and some random Skatopia people. I'll get into that place later. Oh god, fucking Skatopia. But it ended up just being another party. Then I found out Andy was drunk and driving his old school 70s blue truck Nelly. Oh, dude, I used to be friends with Andy on Facebook, and he always posted his blue truck Nelly, dude. That's so crazy. And was plowing over random street signs and apartment complex signs. Andy's wild, bro. Someone saw what he was doing and called the cops. Eventually, the Elmhurst PD was in the complex parking lot looking for Andy's truck, or trying to identify which truck it was, I should say. What? Andy was hiding in the closet. Then the cops figured it out and knocked on the door. They came in and questioned the rest of us, and eventually I had to wake him up from the closet and turn him in. What? What? I don't think they gave him a DUI, just a fine because they didn't catch him driving. But they could get him for destruction of property. They could get him for destruction of property, but I'm not even sure if he ended up getting a court date or what the fine was. I'll have to investigate that one down the road. So that's what happened. Instead of packing, more people came over as the night went on. Eventually, there were about 20 of us in the studio. It was pretty nuts. I should have added more character. It was pretty nuts. Then out of the blue, my parents stopped by to break up the party. Of course, dude. That was really intense. I remember being pretty drunk and telling them that this is my life and you can't tell me how to live it. Though that didn't really go over well, as they helped me get the apartment. So yeah, the arguments didn't work very well. So the party breaks down, people start leaving, and I go back to drunk packing. Oh, the best type of packing. The next day was the last day. I was at first packing alone because obviously my parents did not want anyone over on the last day, though Rob was still there. He took the garbage and left because he didn't feel comfortable around my dad, who then came over to pack. So my dad and I are packing, and then my mom came over, which is when things got rough. Olivia's cat Lola was still here while she was in jail. This was a huge fiasco, as Lola did not like riding in cars. After fighting, cleaning, and packing with my parents, putting everything in the Pontiac Montana, it was time to attempt to get Lola out of the car while the final apartment check and the packing of the van was going on. Here, I hear the sunset music, so I better start moving, because it's just got to keep on moving, because Rare will freaking kick you, give you the lazy beard. Let me head back to the tavern. Actually, let me drink some grog on the way to the tavern. I'll just sit here on the beach. This is a good spot. Dang it, I can't sit because I'm already too grogified. All right. Let me plug the charger in because I'm gonna go back to reading. All right. All right. Water's almost gone. Yeah, this does not feel good at all. At all. This feels terrible. This was a huge fiesta, so I carry. Oh, dude, yeah. This remember. I think I already told the story about what happened when I was in West Virginia. I think I told the story on one of the previous Chautauquas. So if you want to hear about that story, but dealing with Lola the cat reminds me of what. Oh my God, West Virginia was insane. Um, I was on the phone with Olivia from jail, flipping out about how my mom wanted to take Lola to the pound. Olivia's on the phone, flipping out on the phone like, no way, this is my cat and I'm getting her back. Olivia also tried to suggest that this guy Dave, who she first lived with, but he kept refusing, so I carried Lola outside and she was jumping out of this bag she was in, jumping out of my hands, and right before I'm putting her in the car, she jumps out of my hands and runs into the bushes first and into the sewer drain, and she would not come out. So Olivia flipping out, I'm flipping out, my mother's flipping out, and Lola is in the sewer drain, probably also flipping out. So we just leave and figure we'll just have to figure out the Lola situation later. My dad then takes me to the Highland Manor where I was going to get a week, and they tell me I'm on the list of banned people. I get back in the car. Oh my God, that's hilarious, dude. I get back in the car and tell my dad this news. He looks at me like, you've got to be kidding me. And I suggest the Brower Rabbit in North Avenue in Villa Park. So I eventually ended up there, still working at Home Goods in Lombard. One random last thing I forgot to mention was a school hippie guy named Mickey. He was probably one of the nicest people that came by. Always had some good things to say, even though he talks a lot, but he was a good addition to the crazy apartment scene. The Elmhurst police came many times to attempt to give me noise violations for loud music. I'm pretty sure there were a couple of neighbors that kept calling them. One quick note on this. One time I refused to answer the door when the cops came, and eventually they just went away. This felt like a victory for sure, and I remember getting lots of likes on Facebook as well. I think that's about it for the 2012-2013 year of apartment insanity. And it's so crazy, man. Like, he's got his own apartment now, which is good, and like he doesn't drink anymore either, which is also good. So since he doesn't drink, he doesn't have like he doesn't have a bunch of people over as an apartment. We talk like I'm his co-host on Crazy Life Stories, and I haven't even seen his apartment yet, which is interesting. I really want to see his apartment. I think it'd be sick. But let's get back to the story. What time is it? It's already 8:23. Yeah, I'll be able to make the Chautauqua for sure. I'm gonna read until I get more pain, and I'm just trying to kill time and not crack the grog, right? Because, well, the grog's going to be caffeine. I probably should crack it and drink it. But, I don't know. My face hurts. Brer Rabbit Motel to Maywood to the Lido. Lido Motel? Let's see here. Testing. Make sure my mouth is moving. After the ugly cleanup and the disastrous end to the Elmhurst Terrace apartment, my dad took me to the Highland Manor, of which I attempted to get a week and was told I was banned. I said, let's try the Brer Rabbit on North Avenue in Villa Park, Illinois. So we went there. I got a week. It was a little bit more expensive than the Manor. I think it was $250 a week. I had most of the money still since I was working at Home Goods in Lombard. It's the beginning of July with the week at the Rabbit. Noah stopped by about a day later to pick up some cash, of which I couldn't find at first, which was a bit dramatic, but eventually I found it behind this radiator. Interesting, man. Always got to stash the money behind the radiator, right? That was a relief. So he stopped by and got his money, gave me more weed to sell. Now people were coming to the motel to buy green, and I was meeting people in this AutoZone parking lot to sell there as well. I was working Monday through Friday at Home Goods, having to walk a decent amount of blocks to catch this bus to the mall. That was intense. Dude, I hate catching buses. Oh, I got to catch a bus tomorrow. Well, no, tomorrow. I don't know what to do. I need a dentist. It's an infection, and I don't have insurance, so it's like, how am I going to find a good dentist with no insurance? How are we going to find a good dentist anyway? They're all greedy fucking psychopaths. It's nerve-wracking. Literally nerve-wracking. Like, my nerves are racked in my jaw, in my gums. Me and Squirt are probably gonna die. Like, I don't know. We're just gonna keep fucking both keel over in bed, and we're not gonna wake up. But eventually, I found it behind this radiator. Oh yeah, found the money. Now people were coming to the motel by Green. Yep. Still partying. Oh God, wait. I was working Monday through Friday at Home Goods, having to walk a decent amount of blocks to catch this bus to the mall. That was intense. Still partying, inviting the same bums over, such as Kent and his crew. Basically, just like the apartment letting anyone in. So no, I didn't learn anything from any of this. Olivia was still in jail. Noah would bring randoms over to do some interesting things for his band. One of the biggest nights of unfortunate series of events, Kent and his train station bum friends come over along with funny, crazy hippie Mickey, and we had a good party going. One of Kent's friends, Jeff, who also had a job at Kohl's, is pretty funny. He was the classical complaining bum who has had too many jobs and always hated all of them. I remember Jeff telling me that I would always have a problem with any job that I work, and we got a chuckle out of that over a few beers. Anyways, this night did not end well. Kent ended up finding some crack. Oh my fucking God. And remembering him once told me that the only time he steals from people is when he smokes crack. You could buy this book for $1 on Amazon, everybody. Look up Drifter Diaries on Amazon, buy it for $1. It's so good. The only time he steals from people is when he smokes crack. I unfortunately fallen asleep early due to being so tired from work. I had the grams of green in this dryer by my bed. Yes, I know not the best hiding spot, but there weren't many places in this motel room to hide anything. So I wake up the next day and check the drawer, and all the weed is gone. I was hungover and extremely pissed off by this. He stole like somewhere between 15 to 20 grams. Holy fuck, bro. That's some money, man. Eventually, I let Kent's friend Jeff know that Kent was now officially dead to me. It was just that awful letdown feeling. I remember flipping out the phone to Noah being like, I can't take any of this anymore. I can't help you do this shit anymore. Bad night with this pointless 3-hour shift the next morning on the 4th of July. 3-hour shift? On 4th of July? What? I was not a happy camper that 4th of July at the Rabbit. When I got home from work, I started talking to these funny hillbilly-ish guys from down south Illinois. I told them what happened, and they just told me to forget about it, move on, and got me high. And then got some beers and got some beers and party with them. They had some weird, almost sleigh bench thing that their dog pulled them on, and you could take a ride on it. It was hard to describe. It was pretty fun. Anyways, I remember wiping out on it, and it was pretty hilarious. Bittersweet, but kind of funny. 4th of July at the Brer Rabbit. That sounds like a good 4th of July, actually. This guy Rich also came over, who was good friends with my friend Andy. He was living in Maywood and told me at the time that I could come live with him in his crazy foreclosed house he had been living in for like 3 years already. I told him I'd think about it as my week at the Brer Rabbit was coming to an end. So I thought about that and decided to go. The last day at the Rabbit, I checked out and waited for Rich to come pick me up. I packed my belongings, put them in Rich's El Camino. Damn, Rich had an El Camino, dude? Holy shit. And it was off to Maywood. Still working at Home Goods, the first week was pretty cool. I had to mow the lawn that Sunday when we arrived. The grass was really long, where the lawnmower would break down every 10 to 15 minutes, but I got it all done in about an hour. I had Olivia's food stamps and gave Rich the majority of my paycheck and all of the food stamps for rent. When we would go shopping, Rich had to pick out everything in the store. He had a very strict orders about everything. He was an amazing chef, but was weird. If I tried to go in the kitchen, he'd tell me to give him his space. Yeah, I mean, bro, I mean, a good cook is probably going to tell you to get the hell out of the kitchen. Most cooks don't want you to be in there. That's when they're really cooking, when they're cooking some good shit, they don't need you in the kitchen. I can relate to that. That's kind of funny. Um, that was intense. It was hard to even have a conversation because he's one of those always has to be right. Those people are tough for me to deal with. Rich is like this father figure guy who wants to whip people into shape. I had a problem with this because because I was the only one working and he wasn't. And only your own parents should treat you like that. No one needs two dads or two moms. That was definitely the most challenging part of living with Rich. Anyways, we would constantly buy case after case of beer and eighth after eighth of weed, of which this is what Rich would spend the majority of his money on, that I gave him since he was living in a foreclosed house and he had no rent to pay, just the utilities. He's a mechanic but couldn't work because he broke his ankle, so he claimed. So I was really helping him out for the most part, though for the first week, he did drive me to work on my gas money, so that part was pretty even Steven. Then he got sick of driving me to work and said something like, "You're taking the bus from now on," and I was like, "That's fine, I can do any form of transportation to work." I took the bus for the next 2 weeks. Things at Home Goods were getting pretty rocky at this point. I could see possibly getting fired in the near future. I would say it was a 50-50 problem. I was still coming in far too hungover, but the management here seemed to enjoy making me the enemy employee as a supervisor role. It was most definitely one of the weirdest and most frustrating jobs I've ever had. Anyways, the most memorable and or craziest story from Maywood was on the last Saturday I stayed there. Not really for the good either. We're drinking a lot and smoking a lot of pot. Earlier in the day, we were shopping at the grocery store, Pete's Fresh Market in Villa Park. I mishandled this huge loaf of French bread by holding it the wrong way, making an indentation on the spot of it. Anyways, he would not let this go. He went off on me about it all day, so of course it built up in me after hours of hearing about it over and over. By nighttime, we both were all messed up, and he was trying to steal my weed, or I accused him of this over text messages, which with him inside and me outside. I was fighting him about it because I paid for it. Oh, I see. Next thing I know, he's pointing his pistol at... Holy shit! Wow, that escalated quickly. Next thing I know, he's pointing his pistol at me, and since I was so fucked up, I just said something like, "Just pull the trigger, I don't care anymore." He didn't pull the trigger, fortunately, but that was a close call. But then... Wow, that's fucking crazy. I just read "pull the trigger" and I heard 2 gunshots outside because I live in the fucking ghetto. That synchronicity is fucking wild. So even though my jaw hurts, I guess I'm doing something correctly. I'll take it. I'll take it as synchronicity, whatever. But that's crazy. He pointed his pistol at him and he said, "Just pull the trigger, I don't care anymore." He didn't pull the trigger, fortunately. But that was a close call. But then we go inside, still arguing about all of this. And this time, all of a sudden, he fires the gun at the ceiling. Craziest moment of my life yet, by far. We then went to bed. Dude, what? Dude, what? This guy shot his gun into the ceiling in a foreclosed house, and nobody called the cops? Where is this? Like, that's... Holy shit. I mean, I guess... I just heard 2 gunshots, and I'm not calling the cops, so, like... I mean... But holy shit, dude. Holy shit. I gotta open the fucking Irish Cricket, dude. This shit is killing me. I'm in so much pain. I really need to work on this book. I really want to get the next book review out. Dang it. Record it. I'm excited for the next book. It's gonna be a fiction book. But... Oh my god, nonfiction is hard to read. Like, if I started the fiction book right now, I would probably be able to read that entire book, or I'd get at least halfway through it, because fiction is just, I don't know, it's kind of more engaging when nonfiction requires a lot of focus, and you know, it's like this. And F'd Wide Open is definitely a very intellectual type of book. Maria West is a very, very good writer, and I've had to pull out the dictionary. I have the dictionary has been under my computer desk for weeks, and I was like, I finally had to pull it out because every page there's a big word that I've never heard before in my entire life, and I got to flip through the dictionary and find the definition. I know what it sounds like, but the alcohol is like numbing. Oh my god, it feels so good. Hope I'm not having a stroke. That would suck. No, having a stroke like me, like half of your body would just stop working. Is that more gunshots? Cheese and rice. Ow, 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 ow. All right, we'll get up to the crow's nest. Get the beagle eye vision view. I'll take another sip and then we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Get back and do it and do it and do it, do it, do it, and then do it. Let's get retarded. Let's get retarded in here. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Mm, 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 mm. All right. I hope YouTube doesn't flag me for I'm saying a lot of bad words and getting very explicit. The next testing. All right. The next day he did ask if I was all right, and I said yeah, but that was messed up. Oh, I do remember this part of the story. Actually, now that I think about it, I do remember this part of the story. He then said something like, "Don't mess with me," and I said, "Note taken." I still was like, fine, whatever, man, at the same time. Things were obviously pretty rocky here as well now. That Sunday I had to leave the house all day because of what happened. Actually, before I go on and move, like before Matt Bennett moves out of this guy's house, I just gotta say, I've never pointed a loaded gun at anybody with ill intent. I've never pointed my gun at anybody, period. You know, like I drink and I smoke, but that's just something I've never done. And I had an alcoholic who was drinking a half gallon of vodka every 3 days, and he broke my guitar, and I still didn't point my gun at his face. Luckily, when I said he needs to get the fuck out, he got the fuck out and packed his shit. But you know, but I did. I think I did have like I had my gun in my belt in case he did try to fuck around. You know what I mean? But he didn't. Like, I'm glad he was smart. He was a smart alcoholic. But I still feel bad. Like, well, no, I don't feel. He broke my fucking guitar, Henry. What the fuck? I don't feel bad. Fuck that guy. But but anyway, still, like, I never pointed my gun. Like, I guess some people with guns, some people just don't need guns. Literally, like, I could never, especially at Matt Bennett. I could never point my gun at Matt Bennett. He would never hurt a fly. Matt Bennett would literally never hurt a fly. Like, how could I want to fight this guy for pointing a fucking gun at Matt Bennett? You're like, fuck you, Rich. Think you're so good at cooking, motherfucker. You probably suck at cooking. I was still fine. I said I'm fine. Whatever, man. At the same time, things were obviously pretty rocky. That Sunday, I had to leave the house all day because of what happened the night before. I ended up walking all the way to Villa Park to meet up with Noah at a skate park, of which was then at Brower House in Lombard, and had to send a cab to get me. On the way to Villa Park, I bought a 40 of natural ice. Got that Natty Law. A 40 of Natty Ice. Natty Law. And took one sip walking down the sidewalk, and Bellwood cops swarmed me. They searched me, found my weed. Is that another gunshot? Jesus Christ. Searched me, found my weed, took that, made me dump out the beer, checked my record, told me to get better beer next time and let me go. Wow, dude, that would piss me. I would be fighting. I'd be fucking fighting. Oh my! I wouldn't dump out the beer either. I would just chug it. What are you guys gonna do? Tackle me while I'm chugging my beer? Fuck you! I spent money for this. God, I fucking hate. Cops are such douchebags. Like they are little. I remember my old friend. He is currently in. He wasn't even my friend. It was just a couple that me and my toxic girlfriend at the time loved hanging out with and getting drunk with. But because we would always argue about how he's an order following coward, and how he would always say we need government, we need cops, and fucking puke vomit conversation. But I even remember, like, I remember talking with these older people, and even though they supported cops, they were talking about where they grew up at in Texas, and that's where they got married, and they had their house, and then they moved up here for whatever the fuck reason. I think they moved up here to be closer to the wife's mom because she's in Canada, in Nova Scotia. But even they would say they grew up in Texas, and they said every cop in Texas was the nerd in high school. The nerd in high school that got bullied. And then they all became cops. And that's like, same old story, right? Anyways, off with my fucking rant. Cops are fucking cowards. Things were obviously pretty rocky. No, I already read that. On the way, so they made me dump my beer, check my record, let me go. Said get better beer next time. Why? So get better beer. Why? So you could make me dump out good beer? Like, fuck you. I stayed a good portion of the night at Brower House, talking to people about leaving Illinois and where the hell the right place would be to go. I stayed pretty late, tried to catch a train in Villa Park, but missed it by like 3 minutes, so I walked from North Avenue and 355 in Lombard all the way to Maywood. Nuts drifting. Got home and went to sleep. Pretty insane day. Bro, this guy, like, Matt, my heart goes out to you, Matt. Like, reading these stories, I'm glad. Like, he still to this day he rides his bike to work, and sometimes he walks to work, which is crazy. Like, this is what you have to do when you don't care for vehicles. You just get python legs. I mean, you get fucking tree trunk legs, dude. And like Matt Bennett actually does have tree trunk legs. It's fucking crazy. So I guess I know where he got him from then. No, he did all that walking. That's a lot of fucking walking. Monday comes around. I go to work, and about 30 minutes into the shift, I get pulled into the office. The two female managers sit me down and talk to me for a few minutes. They tell me that they are going to have to let me go. I get escorted towards the door. Couldn't even go in the lunchroom to get my lunch, and that was that. Holy shit. Couldn't even, dude, I pay money for my lunch and I can't get it. Fuck you, I'm fighting. That's my, dude, you're fucking with my food. Like, what? Hell no. Hell no. And that was that. Goodbye, Home Goods. So, actually, hey, Google, is Home Goods still an active business?
Yes, Home Goods is still an active business, operating hundreds of home furnishing stores across the United States.
Ooh, God, that sounds like the back rooms, dude. Matt Bennett worked at Home Goods. Matt Bennett worked at the old backroom store. All right, let me get back to the app. Monday comes around, blah, 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 only one. So I catch the bus, and the driver then tells me he's going right to the station, even though when I got on the bus, the sign on the top of the bus didn't say to garage. So I told him what had happened, and he said he'd drop me off in Melrose Park anyways. He couldn't believe I just got canned like that on the spot with no warning. I just said something like, well, that's how it goes sometimes. So I get off the bus and walk back to Maywood. Rich was really weird about giving anyone who stayed with him a key. So I come home, wait on his front porch until I get a hold of him. It was a really hot day. Once I told him I got fired, he was all like, oh, you're screwed. You got to go file for unemployment right away. God, Rich sounds like such an asshole. Like, I would not be able to live with this guy at all in any capacity. Well, oh my gosh. What is the opposite of a shout out? Whatever the opposite of a shout out, let's give that to Rich, dude. Like, uh, uh, quiet in instead of a shout out. It's like a quiet in. He couldn't believe I just got canned like that on the spot with no warning. I just said something like, "Oh yeah, go." Rich was really weird, blah blah blah. Go on unemployment right away. So I went to the office on 19th Street, now closed, and got that all set up. And would start receiving benefits in a week or so. And this time, I also set up one of those studies for cash in Rosemont. This was like a week before I had to leave his place. He took me there both days. It was a 2-day study, and I had to find a ride home. The first day after the study, it was night after it was over, my friend Bill picked me up, and he went to O'Hare to try and get Patrick Kane of the Blackhawks autograph. But his driver was being a dick and didn't let anyone get anything signed. Lame, but we tried. The second night of the study, I had to drift all the way from Rosemont back to Maywood, walking down the highway part of Manheim near the airport. I remember grabbing a couple of tall boy beers and cigs and just taking on the drift. So anyways, the last week I stayed with Rich, he told me I had to be up by Friday since I got fired. I used the majority of my money for the study. I used the majority of the money from the study to pay for the rest of rent and weed and beer. I went to a street festival in the city where I saw this band, Super Happy Fun Club, of which I tried to work with, but felt I got blown off and went off on the lead singer Stubby. That didn't end well since I was drunk, and when I did that, whoops. I got blown off and went off on the lead singer Stubby. Whoops. Anyways, the room I stayed in at Rich's only had this like small wrestling mat and a pillow to sleep on. That was insane. So the last Friday I stayed with Rich came along. Wait, the last Friday I stayed with Rich came along. I went to Home Goods and picked up my last check. Came back to Maywood, and Rich took me to find a motel for the week. I ended up finding the seedy place in Manheim called the Lido Motel. Checked in. Rich helped me bring my stuff in. I tried to be nice and say thanks for the hospitality, and he just says fuck you and peels off in his El Camino. Dude, imagine pointing your gun at somebody, threatening to take their life, and then you still tell them to fuck off. Like, that's crazy. That's just so crazy to me. I keep moving around the crow's nest here to make sure they don't kick me. What time is it? Oh man, I might have to call off on Drifter Diaries, Matt Bennett. I'm sorry. Sorry, my friend. This fucking sucks. Nothing is helping. Checked in and he just says fuck you and peels off. Oh, dude, I don't want to stereotype El Camino owners, but that seems like such an El Camino owner thing to do. Fuck you. Whee! That really does just like somebody with an El Camino nailed it. So now I'm in the Lido Motel. Lido Motel on my last Home Goods check, waiting for the unemployment to kick in. I basically got drunk all week, walking all the way from Elmhurst to get weed from Noah a couple times as well. No one really came and hung out, so I was just being crazy by myself. By the end of the week, I was getting pretty out of control, and this one night, I think it was Thursday, after getting a haircut, I bought a huge Monster and a huge bottle of vodka. Not a good combination right away, dude. Holy shit. A huge Monster and a huge bottle of vodka. Hell no. Hell fuck. I don't care how bad of a day I'm having. I am never putting those two in combination in my body in the same day. That's absolutely insane. You're just asking to go to jail. I ended up drinking the whole bottle, going off on Facebook about killing myself, and eventually went out again for more beer at this gas station down the road. I ran into these two crazy black ladies, and I guess this one chick was starting shit with me about not buying a 40. and punched me in the mouth in the hotel parking lot. Holy shit. I blacked out for a while and found myself back in my room later extremely sore. I remember, I think he told that story on Crazy Life Stories, the podcast. But he had another podcast before Crazy Life Stories got started. And I can't remember the name of the podcast, but I think the podcast like got deleted or shut down or something. Now the only podcast that Matt Bennett has right now is Crazy Life Stories that I know of. Check it out on Spotify. So dude got punched in the face, and woke up back in the room extremely sore. Dude, all these Drifter Diaries makes me want to go back to the Elkhart Hotel and just stay the night for once, just for nostalgia. Dude, the Daylight Inn. Oh, look at that ship out there. They're asking to be sunk. Stupid ass skellies. Come anywhere near me. You're dunzos. But anyways, there's this hotel that me and this dumb hoe stayed at called the Daylight Inn in Elkhart, and it's like, I think it's like $30 a night, $40 a night, super dirt cheap. It was man, what a fucking wild hotel that place was. And that was when we only had Squirt Dog. That was before we got the other dog. Right? Yeah, that we only had Squirt Dog. I've been wanting to go back to the Daylight Inn for a while. That place is fucking hilarious. And it's dirt cheap. I wonder if it's even still there. Like, before I left West Virginia, it was still there. I wonder. Checked in. Oh, yeah, got punched in the face. Woke up back in my room later, extremely sore. I think the two crazy ladies brought me into my room because I remember them still being there at like 4 in the morning. I then passed out again, woke up drunk, and posted something about posting something about a hard R N-word punching me in the mouth, which caused a lot of drama on Facebook, along with more posts about me killing myself. That was a bad night. I remember when he was posting, like, now I'm just going back. Like, we were friends on Facebook, but I was single. Like, it was when I was really single before I even lived at Calvert Street. I remember him posting and like going off. I remember that on Facebook. Wow, dude, life's a trip. Life is a trip. Just when you, like, you don't think about the memories, and then just like something triggers it, and then you go down the rabbit hole, right? You're like, oh yeah, that's what I did way back in the, in like 2000 and, yeah, probably 14, 15, right? Yeah, right, like 2013, right before I lived at I think I lived at Calvert in 2018. Probably moved out of Calvert like 2019. And then the scamdemic happened. Yeah. Like, wow, dude, whoa. Just trying to line up my own timeline, I guess, is tripping me out. And my jaw hurts. Alright, let's get back to the material. That was a bad night. The next day, the lady saw me outside smoking and asked me if I was okay. And then said she sent the lady who punched me to jail. Damn! Okay, got some justice, right? So I gave her money for cigs as a payment, end quotes, payment. The last Saturday night, I was at the Lido. I was pretty drunk as well. And I guess I started yelling at the entire motel complex. Next thing I know, a couple of state trooper cars are at my door asking me what the hell's going on. Someone complained about me yelling outside, called the cops, and then they came and searched me and told me to go back in my room and shut the hell up. I moved in here on a Friday, which would mean I had to be out by Saturday morning.
But I remember getting picked up by my mother on a Monday morning, so I must have gotten one more night. And on Sunday, I got picked up by the time my dad was there to go to a Sox game. During this week at the motel, I randomly started talking to my old friend Nick, who I met way back when I did an interview for Fearless Radio, an independent radio station in the Loop in Chicago. So we were talking, and first he was like, "Why are you going all crazy on Facebook?" And I was like, "Dude, is this Nick Wagner?" No way. This can't be Nick Wagner. No way. No way. Why are you going all crazy on Facebook? And I was like, I don't know. Life is too much right now. I'm doing it to myself, and other people are making it tough on me as well. Yes, so that reminds me of Hamish Patterson. Hamish Patterson was on Sober Wednesday. One of the Sober Wednesday live streams, he was just talking about life, and one of the things that he said that was very profound, he said, he was talking about how he got indulgent because Hamish Patterson is now totally sober. He's a father. He's a homesteader, bushcrafter, great man. And he was talking about how when he lives in California. He was talking about when he was like a burnout, drunk, fucking stoner, right? When he was out of his mind, and he took on the live stream on Sober Wednesday, he took full responsibility. He said, nobody else made me drink those beers. Nobody else made me eat the acid or made me smoke the joints. That was all on me. And I loved that he took full responsibility for that. That's amazing. Like, how many people do you know do that? Right? Like, and Matt Bennett just made me think of that. Yeah, like he was right. Why are you going all crazy on Facebook? I don't know. Life is too much right now. I'm doing it to myself, and other people are making it tough on me as well. Then he asked me if I wanted to go to San Francisco with him. I told him I'd let him know by the end of the week, of which I ended up calling him back and saying, yes, I want to go with. My mom picked me up from the Lido on Monday and threatened to take me to PADS, P-A-D-S, for the week, and I said, no way, I'm going to San Fran with Nick in a few days. So I stayed at what is PADS? I really need to make it to the podcast tonight to ask him this, but I still have 2 hours left. He won't be home for another 2 hours. It's 9 o'clock, 10, 11. Yeah, he won't be home for another 2 hours, and I'm like, my jaw is fucking killing me, dude. Oh, I just want to sleep, right? Like, I want to stop the live stream and go to sleep. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm not going to make it to the podcast. But we have a new guest. Son of a man. But anyways, what is PADS? Going to San Fran with Nick in a few days. So I stayed at my parents' house for a few days, and it was off to San Francisco with no real plan of sorts. No footage due to what happens in the next story. Illinois to San Francisco. This cannot be Nick Wagner, dude. Ain't no way. But it sounds like Nick. Like, Nick is the type of guy that'd be like, hey man, why are you going all crazy on Facebook? Like, I wonder. After the Lido Motel on Manheim fiasco, I went back to my parents' house for a few days. As I mentioned above, I had been talking to my old friend Nick, and he was going to San Francisco on business. No, Nick isn't a businessman. I mean, he is, but he's not. And had said I could come along to help with driving and gas. So with nowhere else to go, I decided to go along for the ride to the West Coast. Nick said he could pick me up late night on Saturday night around 1 or 2 a.m. I was like, all right, all good. So the week goes by, and finally Saturday comes around. I tried to nap after dinner, but was too excited to go, so that didn't happen. Then my buddy Richie called me and asked if I wanted to chill before I left. I was like, hell yeah. So Richie, Ben, and my friend Brian came over, and we hung outside my parents' house, smoking cigs and talking about Cali, and getting out of Illinois while I was waiting for Nick to show up. They eventually took off. We said our goodbyes, And then I just stood outside alone listening to Led Zeppelin Going to California on repeat. Finally, a little after 1 a.m., Nick showed up, and I put my bags in a small Ford Fiesta. Ford Fiestas are so awesome, dude. I almost had one. His car was a stick shift, which is pretty funny because I haven't really driven stick shift much all my life. So he was going to have to teach me really quick before we got on the highway. Wow, interesting, dude. Interesting. It's raining. Let's go back to the tavern. But I'm trying to see how much is left. I'm on location 834 out of 1,596. I'm 52% through Drifter Diaries. But I am glad I got some of the Chautauqua. Oh, I probably should have emptied out some of the water before I left. I'm glad I'm able to get some of the Chautauqua done. I really want to get Drifter Diaries over with. That sounds bad. I mean, I'm having fun with Drifter Diaries, but like I said on the last episode, we're not really talking about morality. We're not talking about natty law. You know what I mean? We're not talking about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, which is fine. You know, you can't always be on your. You know, it's nice to take a little break every now and again, right? But my jaw hurts. It is not fun. Whoa! Little glitch there. Little glitchy glitch. Man, I really want to read the Sea of Thieves books. I really want to reread the Sea of Thieves books, like, on my own time. But, the second book in the series, some fucking Christian lady stole my book and refuses to give it back, so I guess I should message her before my phone shuts off. It fucking drives me nuts. Oh, I need more tea. Fuck, dude. And, I mean, I'm very grateful. Very grateful to be in bed. I'm very grateful to have an internet connection. I'm very grateful to have a PlayStation to where I can live stream. I am grateful, but being in pain is fucking horrible. And I love hanging out. I'm cuddling Squirt Dog. I'm going to have to leave him all day tomorrow so I can go to fucking work. I'm fucking broke. You know, always broke. Always working and always broke. Matt Bennett could definitely relate to that. Teach me about stick shift before we got on the highway. So we drove around my neighborhood, and I learned all the gears pretty fast, and then we were off. We drove through the night, through Illinois into Iowa. By the sunrise, we stopped at this ho-dunk town in the middle of nowhere, Cornfield, Iowa. I remember telling Nick about the Iowa 80 truck stop, and tried to get us to stop there because we had never been there. We couldn't stop there because he was on a time limit to get to San Fran. When we did stop in the middle of a nowhere town, we stopped at a BP gas station. I made a funny drifter video in the bathroom about how far we had traveled. We then got some food at a McDonald's and then carried on. I tried to upload the video, but sometimes McDonald's Wi-Fi is flaky. Dude, I gotta say, McDonald's is like probably a horrible... Actually, no, I know that McDonald's is a horrible company. But, man, I do love the taste of their fake-ass burgers. Especially when you're hungover and you just partied. Dude, you go to McDonald's, get you some McNasties. Oh, dude, the grease, is so good. Like, I love the grease. It's so good. But McDonald's actually sucks. I knew a guy who worked 55 hours in 1 week at McDonald's at a truck stop when I lived at the campground. He got fired because this old lady who's been there for like 2 years felt like she was disrespected. So they fired him after 55 hours of overtime in the same week. And then I go back, and he goes back to the restaurant like after he got fired, and he goes back to the restaurant to get food. And they fired the old lady too. So it's like, bro, Why? It's so stupid. Like, doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna get fired. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck. You're easily replaced, you know? We stopped at a BP gas station. I made a funny drifter video. I tried to upload McDonald's Wi-Fi's flaky. I drove out of Illinois until we hit these stop spots in Iowa, then Nick took over. I started taking Instagram photos along the highway of weird windmills, clouds, and the roads ahead of us. Nick was trying to send flowers and chocolates to his girl he was kind of seeing in New York. Yeah, that's definitely not Nick Wagner. That does not sound like Nick Wagner at all. He was trying to send flowers and chocolates to his girl he was kind of seeing in New York. He was on the phone for a while sorting all that out, and I was just looking out the window. We were both just chain smoking the entire trip and talking about everything under the sun. He was telling me all about all the other drifters and hitchhikers that he's helped transport across the U.S. He told me about this guy he picked up in Tennessee that had to go to Detroit, I believe, and about some couple going somewhere else. But the point is that this is a thing he does for people in exchange for gas and in exchange for gas or driving help. We got through Iowa, which is like 5.5 hours to get through, and of course now entering the long, boring state of Nebraska. It takes about 7 to 8 hours to get through this annoying state. We stopped at a Burger King somewhere a couple hours in for lunch. I was able to upload the first video from Iowa here. So that was cool. We ate and we're back on the road for the long haul of Nebraska, and I was driving again. I think we only needed to stop for gas and food one other time because Nick's Ford had some of the best gas mileage ever. Yeah, those Fords are awesome. Especially stick drift. I bet it's even better. I remember hinting at Nick that we really should go through Colorado, saying that we really need to stop in Denver. But he said we didn't have time for that. But we would go through Utah. This is still cool because I haven't really seen much of Salt Lake City. I've driven through Utah before. Just the special guest just messaged the group chat and it kind of got me fired up. Hopefully, man, I don't know. Hopefully I can stay awake or something. I don't freaking know. Try to figure it out. Maybe take a nap. But like, how am I gonna take a nap? I mean, I'll probably be able to fall asleep because I'm drinking caffeine. But oh god, like fudge. This sucks. We got through Iowa, which is like 5.5 hours, long, boring state, and I was driving. Oh, blah blah blah. I was driving again. Really need to stop in Denver. Oh, I've never seen much of Salt Lake City. I've driven through Utah before, and there's a stretch over 100 miles where there are barely any exits or anything around. So you have to fill up on gas beforehand, otherwise you will be stranded. So we're driving and driving, switching off with each other. Switching off when each other gets tired. Gosh, sometimes the way he writes drives me nuts. Getting through that huge, massive land with no exits, enjoying the scenery, as at this point mountains exist. That's always nice to see along the way. It was getting pretty late as we got near Salt Lake City, so we actually didn't see much of it. Oh, squirt. Oh. Wake up, buddy. You chasing a rabbit, brother? What are you doing, Squirt? Can you get some noises in the chat? Squirt, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, you're too sleepy from napping. You were chasing the bunny in your dream. Why must the dog chase the cat? Atomic dog. Bow wow wow yippee oh yippee bow wow yippee oh yippee. Best in show. Best in show. Alright, Squirt. I just had to make sure you're okay, man. Hopefully you caught the rabbit before I woke you up. Mountains exist. That's always nice to see along the way. It was getting pretty late as we got near to Salt Lake City, so we actually didn't see much of it. So it says so OND day. I still need to. So on. I'm gonna say so on the next day. I still need to see the Great Lakes, the Great Salt Lakes. I remember waking up at the gas station outside of Salt Lake City after falling asleep on the highway for a while. We got food and I filled up Nick's tank. Half asleep, I remember saying something to Nick about maybe this destinationless drift to the West Coast may not have been the best idea, but it was like, oh well, Nevada is next. Dude, I want to see Nevada so bad. I want to see Carson City. I want to see Las Vegas. I want to see where did they stop at in Con Air? Hey Google, what airport do they stop at in Con Air in Nevada?
In the movie, the plane makes its scheduled transfer stop at Carson City Airport.
Okay, yeah.
Later, the convicts plan to meet their escape fleet at the fictional Lerner Airfield, an isolated desert boneyard.
The Lerner Airfield was sick in that movie, dude. I love boneyards. I love airplane desert boneyards. It just sounds like a crazy idea to me. But Carson City, yeah, that's so I already said it. My childhood memory was correct. Let's see if it's raining. No, it's clear skies. Looks like it moved on. Sit back on. Let's go to the beach. I was trying to think of a Viagra Boy lyric, but fuck those guys. They're probably controlled opposition anyway. I've been saying it for years. What has Viagra Boys done for freedom? Shit. They haven't done anything. In fact, all they've done is make money and made Adidas cool again, which I'm not complaining. Make Adidas cool all day. Alright, God, even though I swallow, it hurts. I had a veggie sub from Subway, and fuck, man, it hurts to eat food. It sucks. Half asleep. I remember saying something to Nick about maybe the destinationist lit drift. Oh well, Nevada is next. I felt awake enough to drive, and drove the rest of the night through into Nevada. You know you're getting into Nevada when you start seeing billboards for casinos and buffets. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Reminds me of Fallout New Vegas, boy. Billboards for casinos and buffets with huge mountains in the background. By sunrise, we had already made it about half an hour outside of Reno. Dude, Reno would be fucking sick. Once we got to Reno, I really enjoyed the vibe of this small Vegas right away. One funny thing, there was a gas station right outside in Reno. Where we first stopped was that the clerk behind the counter was from Glen Ellen. What? So I talked about how Illinois is a ripoff, and that's why we moved out here to Nevada. We said our goodbyes. Nick took a couple of hilarious pictures of me with a big mountain of desert behind, which of course went straight to Facebook. I want to see that photo. Anyways, we got into Reno, and as I said, I liked it. As it's not as overwhelming as Vegas, and definitely cheaper than Vegas. We ended up checking into the Circus Hotel. Holy shit, dude! We ended up checking into the Circus Hotel for the night. We played both a couple of dollar slots right away, but didn't win anything. Hey Google, can you show me photos of the Circus Casino in Las Vegas?
HTTP.
Whoa, dude, that's freaking sick. He actually stayed there. I want to see Vegas so bad, but like it sounds so expensive. Just like I want to see Boston. I want to do the Fallout 4 Boston tour, but Boston's probably unbelievably expensive, dude. Like just same with Vegas. Fuck me. After that, Nick was going to sleep in the room. I had a few things to mail. I had a phone interview with the unemployment after setting up my unemployment back in Maywood. I had to take the call on the road as we had already left. The call got disconnected, so I had to call them back when we got to Reno as my phone was dead until then. So I called them back from the hotel room. to confirm what I had to do to complete the unemployment eligibility. I got a hold of them, and they said I had to mail my last few pay stubs from Home Goods. So I got those together from my duffel bag, had envelopes with me, and was off to find the post office and explore Reno. I had to mail Olivia's phone to her, along with Olivia's phone. It says Olivia's phone twice. It actually says that. Along with Olivia's phone, of which I had with me since she was in jail. I found the post office after a while. I asked the cop where it was. Surprised the cop helped you. Along the way, I was also making a Reno drifting video about my post office / Reno exploring day. And then there's a YouTube link. I'll try it. Like, maybe if the YouTube link works. Holy shit!
From Reno, Nevada. Yeah, we're staying at this Circus hilarious hotel in Reno, Nevada for the night, and my buddy Nick has to go to work in San Francisco tomorrow, so we're going to which is like 4 hours from here, so we're going to San Fran tomorrow. That'll be fun. So I plan on just like walking around Reno and I don't know, just checking it out today. That's my plan for today. That'll be fun. So that's just a little update intro of where we're at. I don't know. The drive has been amazing. Oh, the one thing I want to say is like driving through Wyoming.
Hopefully you guys can hear this. I think you can because my mouth's moving. But it's just a video looking down from the Circus Hotel onto the video strip. And you see cars moving, and he's just describing what he's doing. You guys aren't really missing anything.
It's like a dream. It's like out of a movie. Like just the landscape and like the scenery that your eyes see is just like, it's so good. Like I should have filmed some of it, but I took a lot of pictures instead. So maybe I'll just like incorporate some of those pictures into this little weird project. So at any rate, I will talk to you guys when I'm on the streets of Reno, Nevada. Peace out.
Oh, it's edited too, bro.
Crazy like pawn shops and casinos, and just everywhere. This is Reno. It's a fun little
wow,
city.
dude.
I'm just walking around for the first time, and it's a lot of fun.
Reno is gorgeous.
And there's this nuts thing. Like, I don't even know. It looks like the top of a golf ball. Like some gold golf ball. I don't know. It's nuts. Like, this is Reno nuts. So I just talked to a cop, and he said the post office is on 2nd Street. So now my issue is finding 2nd Street. Right here is Liberty and Virginia. I don't know if you can see that well. So I have to find 2nd Street. That's where the post office is. I wanted to find on my own, but I wanted to ask somebody too, because that's kind of fun sometimes too, to ask a cop or someone random. So that's cool. So we're going to go find 2nd Street. Here we go. Well, now my journey is a little bit more on target, on focus. I was going to say on target. As I found a welcome to downtown Reno sign that says post office this way. So there we go. So let's go. And lo and behold, United States Post Office.
Wow. That's crazy.
So that's pretty happy. So let's go buy some stamps so I can mail some stuff. And it'll be fun. Okay, bye. Office closed. New location is 135 North Sierra, number...
Wow, so he gets to the post office and it's closed. There's a new location. I'm not going to watch this whole video, but I will subscribe. It says Matt Bennett, dude. Reno drifting. Is this like, wow. I'm going to send this video to the Crazy Life Stories group chat. My jaw. Sorry, guys. I'm texting the group chat here. I'm gonna send this. And I think since I'm outside of the tavern. Okay, ship is still over there. I'm outside of the tavern. I am doing laundry. It's my day off, and I only have one work shirt for now. So I have to do laundry every single day off. I apologize. I'll sit right here and go flip the laundry. I'll be right back, and we'll get back to the material. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I truly appreciate you. Thank you if you've been staying tuned, staying gold with the entire series. You are a phenomenal legend. But I'll be right back. All right. Got laundry flipped. My jaw keeps throbbing. All right. Gosh. Let's get an Irish cricket since I'm in the tavern here. I'm in the tavern here. Oh god, this is the last of my caffeine, but hopefully I can stay awake. I got about a little over an hour and a half until about the time Matt Benner will get home, so I guess we'll keep doing the Chautauqua. Get as far as we can with Drifter Diaries. I didn't think Drifter Diaries was going to go on this long.
I thought from my memory, it took me. I read the book in like a day. I literally, when I bought Drifter Diaries, I literally read it in one day. But you know, with the Chautauqua, I like this is why I do it. I like adding adding my stories onto Matt Bennett's stories. You know, and like I said earlier, as memories come up while I'm reading, it's just it's awesome. Memories of my own life compared to you know, because me and Matt Bennett have very similar lives. I feel like, although we come from very different backgrounds, you know. So just interesting. Where was I left off? So here's a video about my post office / Reno exploring day, which is a hilarious video. Before I mailed out these things, I had to borrow a pen from this hot dog lady to write return addresses on. It reminds me of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, right? You see the hot dog guy, the hot dog vendor. I bet those chili dogs are, dude, I bet those are 10 out of 10 in San Andreas. A pen from this hot dog lady to write return addresses on. I bought a hot dog from her as well, even though she said I didn't have to buy a hot dog for just using her pen. But I said, no, it's lunchtime. It's time for a dog. That's what again, what a Matt Bennett thing to say. Like it's lunchtime. It's time for a dog. God, I love Matt Bennett. After I mailed her phone and my pay stubs, I still just drifted around, put this video together and attempted to upload it at several places. Eventually it worked at McDonald's. What I loved about Reno is that it's a motel heaven. Almost every corner had a motel, then a casino, and so on. I love this setup. It seemed unique. To see so many shithole motels all in a row. So I was just drifting around, making the video, and finding a place to upload it. Nick was eventually playing blackjack at a casino. He eventually texted me, telling me we could meet up for dinner. God. Freaking phone updates are so distracting and drives me nuts. Lost my spot. He was drunk. Telling me we could meet up after dinner. He was drunk all day, so I stayed sober. I had been sober for a couple weeks, so I didn't want to break it yet. It was pretty hot that day, and I remember hanging outside of a convenience store, and some lady said that it was pretty hot out. Eventually, I found the famous Reno sign and started taking pictures of it. Came back at night when it was lit up and got some better pictures. Oh, dude, that'd be so sick. That sounds like so much fun. Some girl asked me if she could bum a cig from me, and I gave it to her, and she said, God bless America. Then I found a head shop and bought a classic one-hitter. I eventually then just went back to the hotel and passed out since I had been up all day and barely any sleep the night before. So dinner with Nick never happened. When I woke up, it was dark out, and I was hungry, so I took a walk to find some food. I met the shopping cart bum who was yelling about just getting off the phone with someone in the media that told him that the world was ending because he was at shopping cart level. I decided to just ignore him. Probably smart. Probably should always ignore the guy with the shopping cart yelling about how the world is ending. Definitely avoid that person. Putting liquid in my mouth quells the throbbing. That was... that might have been awkward for you, but for me it was very nice. Decided to ignore him. He did ask me if I wanted to hang out, and I said, no thanks, I have to get food. I kept walking down the same weird main drag, but not much was open. On my way back, I started to see drive-through wedding chapels. Again, reminding me of San Andreas. There's a drive-through wedding chapel on the way to one of your girlfriend's house in Las Venturas, and I know you guys know exactly which wedding chapel I'm talking about. The one with the ramp on the right side. Or the right side of the building with the ramp. Because I always took that ramp on my way to my girlfriend's house. Just ramp over the entire highway to get to the girlfriend's house. The latex girlfriend. The BDSM lady. The freak. She was a freak. She was a freak in the sheets. And you bet your bottom dollar I was over at her house every goddamn Sunday. I want to play San Andreas right now. Should I do a modern day Chautauqua on San Andreas? That'd be funny. Go do it at Caligula's. Dude, it would have been cool, like, if I would have known that this chapter was coming with Circus. I would have went and done the modern day Chautauqua in San Andreas. That would have been sick. And the game wouldn't have kicked me out, you know? On San Andreas, you can just be AFK all day. And in fact, the longer you're AFK in San Andreas, the more San Andreas begins to be a fever dream. One of my most popular videos on this Beagle Eye Visions channel is a typical day in San Fierro is the name of the video. And it was, me and my friends were smoking. We were playing San Andreas, and it was like, oh shit, you know, it was like we were gaming, so it got to the point where we had to roll a joint, and we were just rolling a joint, and that video happened while we were just smoking. And that video is hilarious. A typical day in San Fierro. But anyways, let's get back to the material. He said, no thanks, I have to get food. I kept walking down the weird main drag, but not much was open. I started to see the wedding chapel, so I had to take a few pictures of this. I ended up at a weird diner and ate this really good Philly cheesesteak. Holy shit, with fries and lemonade. Oh my, I don't even like lemonade, but a Philly cheesesteak with fries and lemonade? Oh my god, that sounds so good. That sounds so freaking good right now. I love a good Philly. Gotta love a good Philly cheesesteak, man. I actually couldn't finish it. I usually help other people finish their food, but I was kind of out of it still. Dude, no, that's so true. Matt Bennett is not lying. Matt Bennett helped me finish all of the food when we went on St. Patty's Day, when we went to Chicago. When I drifted to Chicago. Shitcago. That was an awesome time, though. Took it to go and walked back out of the hotel. These really hot drunk girls were walking by and made some random comment like, don't you agree? And I was like, oh yeah! Got back to the hotel and ended up talking to Noah outside the hotel about how I just aimlessly drifted across the country with no plan. He said I was pretty nuts and that no one else in Chicago that we know would do this, and I agreed. We talked about it for a while, a bunch of hilarious stuff, then went back into the hotel went to the downstairs casino, being right through the doorway. I went back up to my room, posted San Francisco in the morning on Facebook, and it was time to crash out. Nick came back later. Dude, I swear I remember seeing that post, San Francisco in the morning. Like, so I was friends with Matt Bennett while he was writing this book, maybe? I think that's pretty cool. Maybe. I don't remember. So we slept, woke up early, and I got ready and ate the rest of my cold Philly cheesesteak and fries, and it was on our way. Reno is about 4.5 hours away from San Francisco. Back on the highway with a 4.5 hour drive ahead of us, I think Nick drove the rest of the way. Dude, Beagle Eye Visions needs to go to the West Coast. I've been all the way to the edge of the East Coast. I've seen the ocean with Bare Knuckle Hooligans. When we went and played the Skinhead Oi Fest, that was an amazing time. Although I missed the dumb cunt I was with, I really fucking missed her. I really did not want. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, that was a fun time. I had a burrito on the ocean. I ate a burrito on the ocean. That was the first time ever in my entire life I could afford to see the ocean. Was when I joined a skinhead band. This is the only time I was able to see the East Coast. And my God, the East Coast is fucking beautiful, I gotta say. Especially the women. Woo-wee. But anyways, now I'm distracting myself. We need to get everybody, internet, let's get Beagle Eye Visions to California, please. I really want to see Nevada. I think Nick drove the west of the way. The California border is not many miles from Reno border, and I remember seeing other backpacked drifters walking down the side of the highway. I took a picture of the Cali sign, timed it perfectly. Always get that excited. feeling when entering a new state, California definitely being one of them. As we entered and kept driving, you obviously see signs of different cities and the exits for them taking you down the different highways towards those major cities. We stopped at a Burger King not far from San Francisco, maybe an hour away. I talked to Darcy by now and bought her cigarettes to mail back to her back in Illinois. So now we're approaching San Francisco, and you can start to see the bay, the skyscrapers, and the outline of the city. Again, the excitement creeps up on you as you are not. The excitement creeps up on you as you are coming up on a city you have not discovered yet. That reminds me of Fallout. You had just discovered a new location. I had been to Frisco one other time for a Bears 49ers game, and we saw a bit of the city, but I never really got to explore it. So this was my chance. As we got closer, Nick put on Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg California Love song. Very fitting as we could see the city near the distance. California Love. Now I want to... Is that the California? Not Coldplay, Henry. California. So he said Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, California Love. No, dude, this is Tupac. This is Tupac and Dr. Dre. This is going to be a dumb commercial, of course. Oh, a commercial of a scary movie.
Who knows? Are they them? He stabbed them.
He stabbed them. Oh my god, this is going to be hilarious. I'm probably going to have to go see the movie theater. The weigh-ins are hilarious. And another commercial. Amazing. Oh, yeah, that's it. Dude, that'd be sick! Rolling into California with that song bumping. Man, that'd be... Oh, my... I got chills just thinking about that moment. That'd be sick. I wish I was there, dude. I get to live vicariously through Drifter Diaries. So Nick put on the Dr. Dre Tupac. It says Snoop Dogg, but the Dr. Dre Tupac song, California Love. Very fitting as we could see the city in the near distance. Nick basically had to go move into this apartment and start work in a couple of days, so asked me where I wanted to be dropped off, and we agreed on this hostel downtown. So he drops me off there, I check it out, and it's pretty full. The girl behind the counter told me to come back later, so I figured I'd also check out other hostels and hotels to see if I could check in for a night or two. But unfortunately, San Fran is one of the most expensive cities, and I did not know this. It's more expensive than Chicago, more expensive than LA. Really? More expensive than LA? Holy shit! But probably not as expensive as New York. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So all the hostels and hotels are like $200 a night. And I had only like $250 on me. So I kept drifting around. Find Fisherman's Wharf, the Golden Gate Bridge, and palm trees, which are very rare in San Fran. I really had no plan at this point. Eventually, after drifting for a while, I stopped at the Burger King on the way to the Golden Gate Park. Dude, I wish I was playing San Andreas, because then as he drifted into San Francisco, I would go to the bridge, and it would be so perfect. But anyways, I really had no plan at this point. Eventually, after drinking for a while, I stopped at the Burger King on the way to the Golden Gate Park, which was where I wanted to go to crash because it seemed like a cool, somewhat safe place to stay until I figured something else out. But at this Burger King, I noticed these two interesting characters panhandling at the end of the Burger King drive-through driveway. So I asked them if I could get me some weed. They said, yeah, no problem. Just wait here for a while. So I hung out there
with all of my possessions. I had a decent-sized duffel bag and a backpack. Oh, I remember this part of the story. Fuck, man. And some other random bag full of random shit. I basically just ended up hanging out with these two bums, Paul and his friends, whose name is escaping me now. But he talked and looked like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse. They were good people. As the day came to an end, they sold me a pillow and a blanket because at this point I was stuck on the streets. I found out quickly that they were big alcoholics and crack addicts. I just wanted weed as I was trying not to drink, which I was doing just fine with. Eventually, they hooked me up with a small piece of weed for like $5. They told me I could join them in sleeping in front of this pizza place where they camp out. They would also get a ton of free food from Burger King since they were known as the Burger King drive-thru panhandlers. A lot of people knew who these guys are and tips them very well. So I'm just sitting on the blanket getting high and eating far too much Burger King. And this is when the weirdness started. Paul warned me not to talk to any of the other bums, but I was feeling pretty social with anyone, so I didn't really listen to him. This random black dude came up to me and Paul tried to shoo him away from his storefront spot, in quotes, but I kept talking to him. He eventually was like, "This spot you're crashing in is bullshit. Come with me. I got a better spot at a church." Then right before I went off with the dude to the church, this other crazy guy comes up to me and is like, "I'll give you this quarter of really good weed for like $20. Oh, Beagle Eye Vision's mama just texted home. I'm asking her if she's in the house and telling her to get off the road. All right. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. This spot is bullshit. Come with me to the church. Really good weed for like $20. I told him, hell yeah, this quantity for this price would never happen in Chicago. He desperately needed the money to fix a tire on his car, so that went down. And then I went to the church to sleep there instead. There was a bunch of other random bums that were sleeping on the church steps and around the front of it as well. Everything was cool for a while. I was just getting high and talking to this black dude about how crazy the world is, and then he kept asking me for booze money. He was a persistent bum. He was a persistent bum. He was a quiet man. Wouldn't stop until he got what he wanted. Finally, I guess I just got sick of him asking for... I got sick of him asking and gave him like $8. He took off. And then the other guy randomly came up to me and asked if he could come up and hang out. And I was like, sure, why not meet more randoms? I was just blazing green, hit after hit, and we were talking for a while. And he was telling me about how he's retired now, but has had many careers over the years, but got tired of this working. So he just wanted to end his life as a bum. He then asked me if I wanted to get intimate with him, and I fooled around with him for a bit. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I have gone that way, and I figured that since I'm in San Fran, a super gay community, and I'm on the street, why not? He then took off, and the black dude came back around 4 a.m. He had fallen asleep by now until he came back and sat next to me, then I woke up. He now kept asking me if he could use my phone. I kept saying no, as I knew his game now. But he broke me down because he was half asleep, but my phone was about to die. Of course, he knew where an outlet was, and I sort of followed him, but had to keep an eye on my stuff as well. I guess I fell back asleep, and the next thing I know, he comes running up to me and flipping out, saying some heroin dealer stole my phone right out of his hands. So now, On my first night on the streets of San Francisco, I am already homeless and phoneless. Unreal. Yeah, this is where the yeah, I don't like this part of the story. So I'm gonna take a drink here, and we're gonna keep going. Of course, my brain can easily remember the negative parts, right? Like, what's up with that? And since he's in San Francisco, let me get the I gotta get the flag back in view. There we are. Oh, there we are. All right, shout out to San Francisco. Shout out to Matt Bennett. A couple more hours pass, and then the guy who works at the church tells us we have to leave the church steps for the day. I remember bitching to this other guy about what had happened, and the crazy guy came back and claimed he knew where the guy who stole my phone lived. But of course, it came with a price. He asked for $40, and I was like, "No way, dude! I'll just go buy a new phone for that much." Then he gives me these keys and claims they're to a house he crashes at sometimes, and asks for $20. At this point, I was annoyed with the situation. I gave him the money and went back by Burger King, and he would eventually come back with my phone. Of course, he never came back. At this point, Paul was laughing at me, saying, "I told you not to go off with that guy." I still had everything else, so I figured no big deal. I just buy another phone with the money I had left. I hung out at the Burger King for a while trying to figure out where I could go to get another phone. I was just bitching about the situation for a while and finally took off with the rest of my stuff, looking for a phone store. I tried a few places just looking for a basic track phone, but nowhere had any of these. Finally, I found a Radio Shack that had a cheap AT&T flip phone, so I bought it and some minutes. Meanwhile, I bring my bag of clothes, tablet, toiletries, and sit on and sigh. It says and SI on into Radio Shack. It was only like 5 feet away from me, so I can keep an eye on it while I'm buying the phone. As I'm paying for the phone, I took my eyes off the bag for no more than a minute, and all of a sudden it's just gone. I couldn't believe this shit. Just gone. I couldn't believe this shit. I just lost all of my clothes and possessions. I only had my backpack and my bag with a pillow and a blanket left, and now a phone. I had no clue what to do, so now I walked back to the Burger King hangout spot, and now told them what happened. San Fran is one of these cities where the bum game is that people steal things from you when you're trying to rebuild. You get something back and something else is taken. It really is unreal. So now, dude, this reminds me of the City of Thieves in Adventure Time. There's a really good Adventure Time episode where it's like Finn and Jake becomes such a diva, dude. Jake tries to Jake becomes a thief. Jake the dog becomes a thief because he sees this just absolutely fabulous boots that Jake the dog can't live without, and he steals the boots. And they're the most cheesiest, fabulous boots you ever saw in your entire life. So the rest of the episode, Jake the dog is just walking around with these David Bowie boots. Oh, what a great episode. I just watched it a few days ago. Alright, so it really is unreal. Yeah, this is back to the sad part. Fuck. So now I'm just hanging out, frazzled. I called my parents, told them what happened, and then tried to call Darcy, as she was now in treatment center out of jail. At this point, I was just like, fuck it, it's time to drink. I took off, found a liquor store, and a couple of big beers with now the very little money I have left. I found an alley to drink in and chill out, and now all of a sudden these cops on bikes approach me. Bro, Matt Bennett has the worst luck with cops. It doesn't matter what city he is in. That is wild, because me and Matt Bennett have hung out outside of hotels, smoking and drinking, and I don't know, maybe I'm a good luck charm or something, I don't fucking know. Dude, the worst fucking luck in Drifter's Diaries with the fucking cops, dude. All cats are beautiful, though. It really is unreal. Cops on bikes approached me. They asked for my ID. I gave it to them. And they told me they had me on camera drinking and smoking something. They claimed I had crack on me, and I assured them that it was just weed. One of the cops then said, just weed? And I said, yeah, just weed. They told me to go stay in a shelter and stay off the streets, as they claimed I would turn into a useless crackhead eventually. I told them that was not going to happen. I then again went back to the Burger King and told my bum friends about this incident, and they said not to worry. The cops don't do much about anything here. That was pretty accurate. So then Paul is like, you're having a shitty day, let me turn you into crack. At this point, with all the super shitty stuff that's happening, I was like, fuck it, why not? Oh my god. Matt Bennett, I do not remember this part of the story. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus. So we go down this weird alley. He showed me how to smoke it, and now all of a sudden I'm smoking crack with an old hippie in San Francisco. Nuts. And this is crazy synchronicity, because I was just reading the chapter on F Wide Open and the chapter 2 of F Wide Open. She's talking about Maria West, the author of F Wide Open, is talking about her childhood in San Francisco. And now all of a sudden I'm reading a different book because I was half asleep. And I had all this synchronicity, and now I'm reading another book about how I'm, like, my imagination is still in San Francisco, but it's just a totally opposite of how Maria West describes San Francisco. It's fun. It's literally, this is so crazy. My mind has been blown on air. But anyways, where is my... Oh, yeah, why the hell not? Old hippie, San Francisco. Nuts! The first hit was amazing, and I was instantly hooked. Jesus Christ, man. He turned Dave Chappelle. My name's Tyrone Biggums. Paul told me to start panhandling to get more. He would get more and more every time he made $5 and would share it with me every time. So now I'm panhandling and people are giving me mostly food and not much money. This one day, though, I did make a couple bucks and this random guy selling joints, 2 for $1. They were pretty good sized joints. Meanwhile, somehow I got my mom to send me more of my unemployment since I had no money. I had to go to this Western Union to get it. There was seriously bums everywhere. It was insane. After I got the money, I instantly bought beers for my bum friends and myself. I'll remember the other dude's name eventually. This was on Friday, so by nightfall, I was like, Paul, get me a 20 rock. He's like, hell yeah. Oh my god, dude. Matt fucking Bennett, bro. Matt fucking Bennett. I'm so glad he's, like, clean. So glad Matt Bennett is California sober now, dude. Jesus Christ. Hell yeah. So he goes to get it and comes back as fast as he can, and a few of us go into the alley getting high. San Fran is just like that. Things happen really fast, and it's easy to just get heavily involved with the streets quickly. There were a lot of crazy mentally ill bums as well, but all of them were really smart. There was this super crazy girl who would be really nice to me and give me food and then walk away and flip out on me. Sometimes she would follow me. What the hell? What the hell? I gotta get out of here, or this spot. Rare's gonna hit me with the old lazy beard. Rare needs to hit themselves with the pedo beard, bro. They're like, you guys need to fucking chill. Rare needs to chill, bro. Shoehorning fucking weirdos into the community. But then we can't gamble on Sea of Thieves, right? Because that's too mature. But you can shoehorn pedophiles into your video game community, even though most of the video game community voted this pedophile out. Anyways, I'm ranting about Sea of Thieves now. Sorry, guys. Let's get back to the material. Really happened. Sometimes she would follow me. Paul told me where the DHS office was to get food stamps. So I went there, made an appointment. It was a Friday. Squirt is being fucking adorable. As usual. I went in on a Monday. I was pretty fed up at this point. I remember meeting this guy, waiting to get called in. I told him what had happened to me, and I was bitching. but he kept telling me to change my attitude. He told that someone stole his $5,000 saxophone, and he got over it eventually. Finally, it was time to get food stamps. The lady I saw was extremely rude. Yeah, they usually are. And gave me a really hard time about getting food stamps. She told me I smelled really bad and then I didn't deserve food stamps. Jesus fucking Christ. How can you look another human being in the eye and tell them that they don't deserve food? That's insane. That is insane to me. There is no human being on the planet that doesn't deserve food. Period. That's fucking... I hate food stamps, ladies. Like, when I lived in Ohio, when I lived in Rutland, Ohio, I lived on Skatopia. They encourage, when you go to Skatopia as a homeless, they encourage you to go get food stamps from the food stamp office. They encourage you to go to the food stamp office and tell them that you are homeless and that you need food stamps. Skatopia encourages people, I mean, maybe not anymore, but when I lived there, they were encouraging people to go on food stamps. Listen here. You can't call yourself an anarchist and encourage people to get food stamps. Food stamps is robbery. It's robbery of people who actually work. And instead, food stamps are so immoral, dude. I fucking hate food stamps. I mean, if you are in a position where you really need food stamps, that's different. You know, but like there's college kids using food stamps. It's like, bro, how can you afford college, but yet you can't feed yourself? That shit doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. But anyways, food stamps are so immoral, and I fucking hate food stamps, and I hate food stamps off. Oh, but anyways, we'd go into Rutland, Ohio food stamp office, and these bitches were fat, and they were overweight, and they were fucking greasy, and we had to jump through so many hoops just to get like $100 of food stamps. We had to fill out so much paperwork. It was insane. And like I said, all of these food stamp ladies that worked at this office in Ohio, they were all fat. Like, I mean, they weren't thick. They were fat. They were obese. They were getting out of breath, getting out of their chair to walk to the printer. Like, that's how fat they were, these ladies were. And yeah, we were literally homeless. We lived at Skatopia, you know, technically, but we were technically still homeless. Oh God. What a rabbit hole. I gotta make more progress on this material. Paul told me where the DHS, blah blah blah. Finally, it was time to get some food stamps. Extremely rude. She told me I smelled really bad and didn't deserve food. I argued with her heavily, telling her I am demanding them. Finally, she said she would give them to me, so I had to wait for my card to be made up at this other office, and I met this guy who thought I was cute. We talked for a while. He then checked me out. We took a walk, and then he had to go to do something, and I had to go get my card. We said we could meet up later. I then met this other guy. He was straight. But we just got into a good conversation about trying the homeless life on San Fran. Let me get the LGBT flag up in here. Yep, make sure that's in there. He was straight, and we had a good conversation about trying homelessness in San Fran. He was from here, and after you explained everything that had happened, he was basically like, yep, that's how San Fran is. I then said something like, San Fran kicked my ass. He thought it was honest and funny. Then some crazy 49ers fan started yelling and chasing me because I had a Bears hat and hoodie on. I lost him, went back to Burger King and told my bum friends that I just had enough of this place. As you do when you're drifting, you know. You kind of get tired of... Man, I want to drift. I want to drift back to Chicago, drift anywhere. I'm tired of South Bend. Like, I'm getting... antsy. They told me about this program where you can get a Greyhound ticket out of Cali. So I thought about it for a couple of days, exploring a bit more of the city, being Haight and Ashbury. Dude, what? Again, like, I want to go see Haight and Ashbury because I have read the book of Weird Scenes Beyond the Canyon. A phenomenal book, right? If listen to me. If you are going to read any book out of that Beagle Eye Visions tells you to read, Weird Scenes Beyond the Canyon is at the top of that list for sure. It's in the top 10. You have to read. It's required reading. You have to read that book. Holy shit, that book is insane. But anyways, Haight and Ashbury, and this place called Hippie Hill. After going crazy again, I talked to my dad and told him I was ready to go home and get help. So I went back to DHS the next day to set up a Greyhound ticket home. It was STIOO. Oh, it was still going to take a couple days before I could leave. One night before this, that was really the backbreaker, was when I was sleeping on the street in a pretty hidden spot, and when I wake up to my backpack being gone. So at this point, I had lost everything I brought with. Jesus. I remember hitting the pavement and saying, fuck San Francisco, I'm done. Before I left, I did meet this shopping cart bum who was actually from Rockford. I think that might be is that a suburb? This shopping cart bum from Rockford. He gave me this cool Indian blanket and a broken backpack. So I had this backpack, 2 pairs of sweatpants, a pair of khaki pants, a couple of t-shirts, a long sleeve shirt, and this blanket. That's all I was bringing home. Everything else was gone. This was the final straw which led me to set up the Greyhound back to Chicago. So now it was time to leave the West Coast and head back to the Midwest. Nuts! And here's another YouTube link. Again, you can get this book for $1. And I'm simply copying the YouTube link, heading over to YouTube on my phone, going in the search bar, typing in the http:/u2.be/spn GJP3, and I'm going to hit enter. Hopefully something pops up. "13 years ago, Matt Bennett, Daniela Monet, and Avon Jogia." Damn, she's hot. I hear Matt Bennett's voice. What, dude? What? So wild. I'm gonna leave a comment on this video because it's not a Matt Bennett video on his YouTube channel. It's a 24-second video. Matt Bennett is a legend. That's my comment. That is my comment on Lucia Torres. Man, dude, is that Lucia? Are you Lucia here? Dude, you're a beautiful girl. Dang, golly. Is that the video though? Yeah, that's gotta be the video. I don't know. So 47-second video. Let me adjust here before I get lazy bearded again. Let me go under this light so we can keep the LGB flag in there. Yup, sick. The ship just keeps drifting by itself. It's kind of funny. Speaking of drifting, you know. San Francisco to Illinois. What time is it? 10 o'clock. Got about an hour till Crazy Life Stories. I think I can make it. And I'm at location 1002 of 1596 of Drifter Diaries. So I'm making some good progress. I wanted to get over 1,000 today. So that's good. I'm going to drink some tea, and we're going to keep going. This is keeping me awake, so. After getting the Greyhound ticket back to Illinois, all squared away. Testing. Am I, yep, all right, we're here. I'm in here. All right. After getting the Greyhound ticket back to Illinois all squared away with Callie, food stamps, it was time to say goodbye to my bum friends and hit the road. This guy from the DHS office drove a bunch of us to the Greyhound station in a classic big white van. They also give you $50 for the trip, but my kind mother also wired me some money, so I was good to go on cash and food stamps. It was going to be a long bus ride home with tons of stops. The first couple were obviously still in Cali. I think Encino, yeah, that's got to be Encino, was the first one, with San Jose after that. Those were short, quick stops of people getting on and off. After that, we drove for a while into the desert, of which we made our first fuel and food stop. I was sitting towards the back of the bus next to this cool Mexican guy and this younger dude. We were talking about our crazy San Francisco tales. He asked if he could use my flip phone to call his parents. He said he'd give me $1 for the call, and I was like, cool. But at the same time, I was talking to the Mexican guy about how crazy money is, about how you need it, but it's never enough. Yeah, man. Shoot. Heard that. After we got off the bus for the stop, I switched seats after buying tons of crazy stuff in the gas station, having a smoke or two with a few random travelers. It was back on the bus. There was this Mexican guy hanging out with the random shed with a huge bong. Hell yeah. He was like the maintenance guy or something. That was classic California. Just another hour, he'll message the group chat and let us know when he's heading home. Alright. So, the special guest tonight is messaging me. I'm getting pumped, dude. He got me pumped. He's like, I'm nervous. He sent me a big old smiley face, but he said I'm nervous. Dude, this is going to be a very good episode. I can't wait. I might be a little sloshed, but hopefully Angel is going to do most of the talking on this episode. Dude, I'm pumped. Where was I at? I'm on my phone. Yeah, Drifter Diaries. Ooh, it's getting kind of toasty, man. I don't know. Like, I'm wearing sweatpants. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the tea, caffeine, the pain. This was Mexican guy hanging out with random shed. He had a bong. That was classic California. Basically, a lot of desert driving all day by night. We would hit LA. Oh, sorry. I was just I was letting him know his voice only podcast. When we got to LA, I found out that I had to spend the night at the Greyhound. I was pretty tired, and since I didn't have anything valuable with me, I figured I'd just sleep. I did let a cool dude use my charger to charge his phone, then fell asleep. Waking up at like 1 a.m., I got some food, including a corn dog. Dude, a corn dog sounds so good right now. Went back to sleep until the morning and was awakened by the crazy Greyhound morning rush. I went outside to smoke. Squirt, stop eating your butt. Oh man, he was saying I look like a beast, and I was like, same bro, I need a damn haircut. But anyways, we got to LA. Did let this cool dude at 1 a.m. corn dog. Went back to sleep until the morning, and was awakened by the crazy Greyhound morning rush. I went outside to smoke and met these weird stoners and bought this crappy weed from them. Didn't care, just wanted to get stoned. All capital letters. Stoned! Talked with a couple of other cool people. Then the drama show started inside the station. Oh, shit. First, these two troublemaking, in quotes, couple, I think they were really just friends, were starting some shit with this crazy older black lady. The black lady claimed that the two troublemakers were hitting on her and are harassing her. Well, at least the guy of the troublemaking couple was hitting on her. The crazy girl troublemaker was doing the harassing. Oh, interesting. Security eventually got involved, and then the troublemaking duo were asked to leave. Then, the crazy black lady, all riled up, trips and spills her food all over and starts claiming the whole she's really hurt and can't get up routine. The way he writes, he's like, oh my, like, you could hear his, like, really lady, really? You could hear his really lady in his writing. Complaining she's really hurt and can't get up routine. Security helped her up, cleaned up her mess, and then another bigger black lady. And the crazy black lady started getting into it about who is hotter. Only in LA. I'm hotter than you. I can just imagine. I can imagine. When I left Chicago for the St. Patrick's Day show, there was this drunk guy outside one of the bus stops, and he was making me nervous as fuck, dude. Finally, he went and, like, the drunk homeless guy was, like, yelling and screaming and cussing at himself. No, he was on the phone. He was on a phone call cussing at himself. And finally, he went and fucked off and, like, went down the road. So, and, like, I think he was making me and this other dude kept vaping, and he let me hit his vape. I made sure it was a THC vape, too. And he's like, bro, that guy was making me nervous. And he was, like, a really skinny dude like me, but except I was taller than him, so he's super skinny like a toothpick, and he was shorter. But it was cool that he let me hit his vape, and I'm like, no, bro, I got your back, dude. I got your back. I'm not gonna let any homeless people fuck with you. And then after that, he calmed down, and then we started talking to each other. We were literally just drifter diary. We started talking to each other, and it was like, okay, we got to get back on the. When is the train gonna show up? Well, I don't know. They just kicked us off, because that was a crazy story. I'm steering away from the material, but flashback to St. Patty's Day when I was not waiting for a train. Security helped, cleaned her up, arguing about who was hotter, only in LA. Eventually, it was time to load the bus, but this was some quality classic Greyhound station entertainment. Yes. Oh, the train stops and the bus stations, like, you find some characters, man. Then at the border of Cali, we stopped at this weird tourist fast food court gift shop rest stop. There was a no panhandling sign, which is pretty funny. I went crazy at McDonald's getting a 20. Holy fuck! I mean, Matt Bennett's a bigger dude, but 20-piece McNuggets is a lot. And then it keeps going. I went crazy at McDonald's getting a 20-piece McNugget, 3 grilled onion cheddar burgers. Holy fuck, bro! And a large Dr. Pepper. Okay, Big Smoke. Fucking talking all this San Andreas talk. Okay, Big Smoke. I want a number 9. A number 9 large. A number 7. Hold the salt. I want to rebeat San Andreas now, dude. That game is so good. What a classic. So Nevada was next. I was sitting next to this annoying black dude complaining about everything. And he was bitching to his girlfriend a couple seats back. But I thought he was talking to me. Finally, I said something like, look, dude, don't even start. I've been through far too much. He said, no, I wasn't talking to you. And I was like, whatever. We then decided to switch seats so he could sit by his girlfriend, and I didn't have to listen to him. Now I sat closer to the front of the bus next to this cool dude from Iowa, and this funny, interesting couple from Omaha. Again, we were swapping stories of everything we had been through. We first stopped in a couple of middle-of-nowhere small Nevada towns. These small stops were just drop-off and pick-up stops. No one could get off. Vegas was after this. We had to switch buses in Vegas to get on one that went towards Denver. Someone else I had met and talked to for a bit was getting off at Vegas. I wished him good luck. I got off and realized that I forgot a bag on the first bus, and the Denver bus was leaving already. So I went back to get the bag, and the bus driver was all pissed off at me. None of these bus drivers were ever nice. Yeah, I worked at Good to Go Oil gas station in Marion, Indiana, and we had a Red Baron bus that would stop there. The bus drivers, actually no, I take that back. One bus driver, she was a very attractive older black woman. She was always so sweet. She usually had to come in and use the bed. The bus would show up right at close. Like sometimes the bus would show up at 10:30, but we closed at 11, and sometimes the bus would show up after close. So all these people would get off the bus, and they would be like, "Hey, can we get a drink or something?" It's like, "I'm sorry, your bus showed up too late. I have to close the store so I can fucking go home." But a lot of times, this bus driver, it would be like 10:45, 10:50, the bus would show up, and she was always so sweet. I loved her, actually. I wish I could remember her name. She was always so sweet, but all of the other bus drivers were total dicks. They were fucking assholes, man. They were rude as fuck. But, I mean, to be fair, I can't imagine dealing with random people of all different walks of life and driving a bus for X amount of hours with all of these random people. That would be an insane job. That would be insane. I wouldn't be able to do it. The drivers were always all pissed off at... they were never nice, never ever nice. They would threaten to kick people off for the most ridiculous minor things, like standing up to get something out of the overhead compartment. Yeah, see, when you ride the South Shore train to go to Chicago, the conductors are all very nice. Like, they're not that strict. I mean, if you're sneaky, you can get away with, like, drinking a beer. And like, I always drink beer and shit on the South Shore train. It's awesome. I love the South Shore. We now drove for a long time, with the next stop actually not until the middle of nowhere, Utah. First, I'm pretty sure we stopped for food, and there was a McDonald's right there. Right away when we got off the bus, a couple people from Omaha begged me for some food from McDonald's, and I gladly helped them. They were pretty down and out and very thankful for the food. We loaded the bus and drove a bit more and had to stop for fuel again. Why didn't we before? I don't know. Crazy Greyhound. Oh, that's just the way Matt Bennett writes. Anyways, we're still in Utah. The crazy Omaha guy is telling bad jokes and showing me crazy things about hunting, and then starts talking about Bigfoot adventures. He definitely believes they exist, and was showing me what claimed to be footprints on his iPad, along with some crazy weird drawings he had made. When we got to the next stop, I told the three of them that I'd buy them whatever they wanted from the gas station to stock up on a bunch of stuff for the next long haul on the trip, since I had Cali food stamps. They were pretty stoked about all of this. After all of this gas station footage happened... Oh, foodage, not footage. All of the gas station foodage happened. It was on to Colorado next. We're driving along, and then the unthinkable happens. In the middle of nowhere, Colorado, our bus breaks down. Holy shit. Luckily, where we broke down, there was a random coffee shop rest area place. Everybody was just pissed off about the breakdown. Dude, this reminds me of, I was watching a recent show called From. It's got one of the guys from The Matrix. And I think in the second season, a bus breaks down in the town of From. That's just triggered a memory. That's funny. Especially, everybody's pissed off about the breakdown, especially a few people who really had to get home to get to work. I was just chill. Since I really had nowhere to go, everyone kept inquiring about how long it was going to take to get another bus sent. Of course, our driver, or the dispatchers at Greyhound, had no idea. It ended up being a 5-hour delay? Holy fuck! So people were just hanging out and talking, buying coffee and treats from the little shop. The Iowa dude and I went hiding on the side of the building and rolled a joint with the rest of the crappy weed I had left from L.A. Oh, damn it. I don't want to repaint the ship. Freaking rare. Got kicked. Yeah, I got the lazy beard. Yeah, do that activity, whatever. I'm on safe seas, my guy. But anyways, 5-hour delay, so people were just hanging out, talking, buying. We rolled a joint on the side of the crappy weed from LA. A few of us had also found a Walmart nearby to stock up on some supplies. I think my supplies was a huge bag of peanut M&Ms. We returned back to our bus breakdown camp and just started randomly joining in everyone's conversations. There was this guy Tom, a retired teacher, who was loud and hilarious. He was like the play-by-play guy about every single crazy Greyhound adventure. Everyone was just bitching about getting home. After 5 hours, a new bus came, and it was time to load it up and hit the road again. We were now going to have to drive through the night to Denver. We were also about 8 or 9 hours away from there as well. We started driving about 6 hours and then had a stop about an hour outside of Denver. I need to get back to the tavern. I need some more grogs. I guess we'll do the sloop this time. About an hour outside of Denver. There's a guy who's getting off here that had a job lined up and a family to see. Before he left, a bunch of us went behind a building and got high and talked about baseball. Freemasonry allegory right there, baseball. He took off. The rest of us got back on the bus and drove the rest of the way to Denver. It felt so great to be in Colorado. We got to the Denver Greyhound in the early afternoon. I think there are a couple of other random small stops before arriving. Once we got there, everyone was still pissed about the delay, and Greyhound gave everyone a free, crappy meal ticket for some crappy food at the station. We also had like a 5-hour layover here in Denver. Holy shit, dude. The Iowa dude and I decided to go score some weed. We went outside the station and asked the random... This is in quotes, by the way. They asked the random wigger-looking dude if he knew where we could get something. He was like, oh, yeah. Come across the street, I got a guy. I met this big black dude who sold me a huge G for $20, and it was pretty cool. He went back in the Greyhound station and rolled a joint in the bathroom and went back across the street to smoke it out in public, which always feels cool being from the Midwest since no one cares. I remember going to the store with some other random dude to the store. Damn it, Matt, you're writing. I gave him cigarettes, and he bought me a few Arizona iced teas. When we got back to the station, I remember talking to this other crazy guy who was talking to me about his crazy truck driving, not drunk driving, sorry. His crazy truck driving story about how he got a DUI. Okay, so it was a drunk driving, crazy truck driving. He got a DUI, drunk, and passed out behind the wheel in his truck and parked on the side of a highway in Wyoming. I think I gave him cigarettes, but he kept asking for food, and I was running low on food stamps, and he was kind of annoying about his homeless problem. Interesting. I'm about 68% through the book. Then I went back across the street and started talking to this other guy who was like homeless for another week until his paycheck came through. He was a musician who just put out like 5 albums consecutively, so he said. We talked about our adventures. He told me about working the oil rigs up in the Dakotas and how it's great money, but the cost of living is very high there. So what you do is make your money, get out and live somewhere else. I told him about what happened in San Fran, and he said something about, yeah, you're going to lose a couple pieces here and there as an artist. I'm like, oh yeah. Then this other guy randomly came over and started talking to us as well. He had just gotten out of jail and was telling us his story. Am I at the same time? No, I don't want to sleep. Okay. Testing. All right. He's telling us a story about how he got out of jail and telling us his story. Eventually, I had to get back to the bus station across the street and figure out departure. So now the Iowa dude and I just hanging out talking about our journey. The Omaha dude was bitching on his iPad and Greyhound about his whole trip. It was entertaining to watch. He didn't get anywhere with them on the basis of a refund. Everywhere else is hanging out inside, and it's time to load the buses soon. The Omaha couple, Tom and the Iowa dude, were taking separate buses, so we said our goodbyes and it was off. The same guy who hooked me up with weed was on the same bus I was taking. He was going to Kansas City. We started going back, and this girl asked me if she could put her backpack on the seat next to me, and I somehow had an empty seat next to me. Something weird happened after this. I fell asleep and sort of woke up. Half asleep, I accidentally started opening her backpack thinking it was mine, which was on the floor by the seat. Hold on, let me, I'm gonna use the restroom really quickly. Get into a better seat. Which island? Are we at the same island? We are at the same island. That's a wildly hilarious, Rare. Oh, I got no food. Dang it. Let me hang out with Captain Capsize here for a minute. I'll dance, actually. Actually, I'll do a high-spirited spin. And I'll be right back. All right, stay tuned, stay gold. We're going to keep diving into Drifter Diaries, making some good progress here. Quiet! Snoopy. Get back in bed, Squirt. Go! Freaking old guy. Who are you barking at? Move! Come on! Well, I hope you guys heard the beagles barking in the background. Welcome to Beagle Eye Vision. Beagle Eye Vision, as Jay Dyer said once upon a time. All right, 10:27. We got about 40 minutes until we record Crazy Life Stories with host Crazy Matt Bennett. Dude, I'm just excited. I'm excited. I miss Matt Bennett. I love hearing from him every week. Very good friend of mine. What is going on? Oh, they're fighting over there. They're fighting over at the skull. The power of the skull. The power of the skull. The dude who I bought green from was somehow friends with this girl whose backpack was next to me. He saw me make the mistake of opening the bag and grabbed it right away from me. Now he's thinking I was a thief, and I looked right over him and was basically like, dude, I lost all of my stuff from San Fran, and no way am I trying to steal anyone's shit. I said I was half asleep and confused and apologized profusely. That's so funny because I think when we were in Chicago at St. Patty's Day, I think we woke up the morning and the morning after, and I think Matt Bennett was like going through my bag. And I trust Matt Bennett. I'm like, "Hey Matt, are you going through my bag?" And then he opened his eyes wider and he's like, "Oh shit, I thought it was my bag." Oh, it was funny. But it's it's hilarious to read that he did it. He keeps doing it. That was just so funny. Apologized profusely, like a gentleman does. Then I was just like, whatever about the whole thing, and rolled a cig joint for the next stop. This guy in the seat behind me smelled me rolling it when we got off the bus and took a walk and smoked it. He was very appreciative because he had just gotten out of jail. I think I bought him McDonald's as well. Meanwhile, the guy who was still thought I was being a thief starts telling on me to the bus driver. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Alright, I'd be fighting. So I'm already back on the bus, and the driver pulls me off of this bus and starts accusing me of all this. I told him no way. I don't have, any possessions left myself. I do not steal from people. I had pants with no pockets on them, and my Bears hoodie, which had one pocket and one ripped pocket. Finally, They all believed me after checking my backpack and everything was still there. I apologized profusely again, and this fiasco was over. Back to traveling to Kansas City. Then, since they were going through Kansas, I start texting Pish for Dan's number because I could get off in Topeka or Kansas City and go visit him. We then set that up, and he said he'd pick me up in the AM since the Topeka stop was just a quick drop-off stop and Dan couldn't get there in time. So now I was getting off in Kansas City and going to visit Dan in Topeka. 10:30. Yeah, I need to drink more tea. This is awesome. I love doing these Chautauquas. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. I hope, I wish this series was more popular, especially with some of the more serious books that I've done, like the previous Chautauqua with The Last of the Hippies. And I was so white girl wasted during the Martin Luther King Chautauqua. Like, it's almost disrespectful with how drunk I was. But hopefully I'm pretty sure I was probably telling the truth. Maybe in 20 years, I'll go back and listen to that live stream and have a good laugh. That's or at least maybe that's the idea. Going to go visit Dan in Topeka, Kansas. As I mentioned, I could not get picked up in Topeka, so I had to wait till Kansas City. We drove all throughout the night and got there early in the morning. When we got off the bus, I had a small nug of weed left, so I wanted to smoke it because smoking sleep deprived is my favorite time. So I go outside, look around, and took a hit. All of a sudden, these two guys come up to me, and they ask me if I'm a doctor. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And then they show their badges to me. And the next thing I know, they take my weed, my one-hitter, and we go into the Greyhound Station office. They start questioning me and interrogating me. And I was really going nuts now, flipping out about all of this. I told them I am a documentary filmmaker, and they said I looked like Michael Moore. Finally, they let me go and claimed to have just given me a $75 ticket. So I'm waiting at the bus station for Dan to pick me up and go out for a smoke. And some hooker asked me if she can use my phone. Jesus, man, like, so many random characters are coming. Like, you got order-following cowards harassing Matt Bennett. You got hookers harassing Matt Bennett. Oh, my gosh. Some hooker asked me if she can use my phone. I told her I had no minutes left, otherwise I would have let her. Then some other guy was just staring at me for like 20 minutes and really creeped me out. Finally, Dan came to pick me up, and I told him everything that had just happened. And as usual, he said, only you. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Dan. Only Matt Bennett. We drove around Kansas City for a bit, and then we were off to Topeka. We got to his and his soon-to-be wife's house. Him and his soon-to-be wife's house, and he said I could stay a few days and then catch a bus back to Chicago. So we went out, had a few fun nights. One night, we went to this hilarious barn party and got really drunk. Met a bunch of people, and this one girl, after seeing some of my videos, even offered me a job and a place to stay. That didn't happen, and looking back, I kind of wish I would have done it. Oh, so they were serious? Yeah, Matt, you should have. Also met Dan's friend Nate and discovered Topeka. Finally, I was able to get a ticket back to Chicago. There was a problem with my debit card, but it eventually went through. I was supposed to leave at this one night, but the bus was overbooked and the driver was being a dick, so I had to wait until the morning at like 6 a.m. So Dan and I went back to the house for one more night and woke up at like 5 a.m. to get back to the Greyhound station, which was really just a gas station. Finally got on the bus and said goodbye to Dan, and it was off to St. Louis, with a few random small-town stops on the way. Some girl got on and at one of the small stops and sat next to me. She had just gotten out of jail. Dude, every person that sits next to Matt Bennett just got out of jail. We swapped our stories, and I think she still thought mine was crazier. I think she went into jail for possession. Nothing really exciting happened the rest of the way on to St. Louis. Once we did get to the St. Louis station, I almost got right back on the bus straight to Chicago, but the driver was an asshole. So the lady behind me The lady behind the counter just told me she would put me on the next bus, which meant another 5-hour layover in St. Louis. I go outside to smoke, and the same dude who sold me weed in Denver was now here. He asked me if I wanted to buy more, and I told him no cash on me or my debit card, just my number so I could only make online or phone transactions. He then just gives me a huge joint, but tells me I have to smoke it with these 2 random black kids who were just hanging out at the station. So we took a walk around and smoked most of it and came back to the bus station. I just wanted to go back inside, and I had to charge my crazy San Francisco flip phone. I'm chilling by the phone charging station, and then these other 2 interesting characters come by me and start charging the phones, and we started talking. One guy was going to Carbondale, Illinois, to a shelter as he just got released from the mental hospital. Carbondale, bro? Like, I opened up... What band was that? Carbon Lights? No, Atomic Lights was from Chicago. The copyrights are from Carbondale. Fuck, man, what was this band, dude? It wasn't Torch the Hive. Son of a... Dude, I had their sticker on my desk for the longest time. I had their CD. I probably still have their CD somewhere. A sick band, dude. Oh, I can't remember their name. But Carbondale, dude. Carbondale pumps out a lot of talent, I just gotta say. Actually, let me double check. Let me double check my facts since this is a educational Chautauqua. Hey, Google. What city is the band the copyrights from?
The copyrights are from Carbondale, Illinois.
Yep, yeah. So there's a lot of really good bands from Carbondale. Had to charge my phone. One guy is going to Carbondale, Illinois, to a shelter. He just got released from the mental hospital. We talked for a while about how doctors suck and they just diagnose you with stuff, but don't even know you or how you even act day to day. This hilarious black dude who just bought a house in Arkansas and was drunk talking about the future and all these new toys he wanted to buy. He gave me some of his KFC as well. Then they left on their buses, and I hung out a little longer. I put more minutes on my phone, and soon it was time to load the bus to Chicago. When we got on the bus and it was finally time to head home, first it was through southern Illinois, stopping in Champaign, Decatur. I hate that word, Decatur. I don't know how to pronounce that. I know how to pronounce Champaign all day. And a couple of other small towns, and Chicago was next. I better move. I just had an instinct feeling that I was about to get lazy bearded. They're still battling over there, huh? Okay. On the bus, load to Chicago. We got on the bus and it was finally time to head home. First, it was through southern Illinois, stopping in Champaign, Decatur, and a couple other small towns. Chicago was next. We were going to be there around 1:30 in the morning. My dad came to pick me up. I had a broken backpack, a weird Indian design blanket, and 1 or 2 other changes of clothes, plus my phone. That's what I brought back to Elmhurst from San Francisco. Came home, ate some spaghetti. Hell yeah, dude. Fuck. Spaghetti sounds so good. And went to bed. And I bet Mama made that spaghetti, dude. I bet that spaghetti was so fucking good after all this adventure timing he was doing, dude. Oh, man. I was now back home for the next 6 months. It took about 2 months, being July, when I got back. So by September 1st, I had a job. Wait, I was now back home for the next 6 months. It took about 2 months, being July, when I got back. So by September, I had a job at Pottery Barn. Yeah, sometimes you don't get sometimes you get a job quick as hell, and sometimes it takes a few months. It kind of sucks. I had a job at Pottery Barn in Oak Brook for the holiday season. I got sober for the most part, at least from alcohol. Wink, wink. Started going to the AA meetings the first time in my life when a new friend, Kevin, who my parents knew through the family he's from, Olivia, was now in a halfway house in Oak Park, so I would go there and visit with her. I told her what I had been through, and she couldn't believe any of it. I would love to meet Olivia, dude. I want to meet Olivia. I also had to sign a sheet my dad made up banning me from seeing anyone who he did not consider were good friends for me, and that would turn my money over to him. One thing I forgot to mention was that a little while after I had been back home, I got this white card in the mail from the Kansas City courthouse. They told me when I got caught with weed at the Greyhound station that it was just going to be a fine. Now there's entire court date attached to it. For the entire state of Missouri. Jesus Christ, dude. For fucking weed. For a plant that fucking pisses me off. This country is fucking sick. What a joke. Anyways, entire court date. This white card was a warrant card for the one... Wait, what? Was a warrant card for the state. But I was now safe in Illinois, so no one could arrest me here. I still to this day have flashbacks about all of this, and wonder if it still exists, or if it comes up on job background checks, even though it was just a misdemeanor. I am not a criminal type at all. No, he is not. Matt Bennett is not a fucking criminal. This life is crazy. I think that's about it for the next adventure, and Illinois to San Diego is next. Illinois to San Diego. So there was one section of this book where I remembered that he had an amazing positive adventure in San Diego, and I think this is the one. So I think I might save this since it's positive. That way we'll have something to look forward to. I don't know when I will get time to do another Chautauqua, unfortunately. I mean, I got to catch up on the Sea of Thieves. The Sea of Thieves missions. I mean, there's the... Yeah, so I got to get all these seasonal... Weekend is the next Bilge Rats Weekender. I think I need to do more research. But I'll be able to do those two challenges. I'll be able to do all of these Act 3 Last Ship Standing, which is... I'm kind of nervous. Like, Last Ship Standing is going to be chaotic. It's actually going to be chaotic and crazy. I might need Mr. Carrot, Soul Beast, to join me if I'm going to do Last Ship Standing. I mean, I need... even Soul Beast or, what's his face? Who I'm supposed to mail him the Polar Express DVD to him, or the Polar Express Blu-ray to him, but he added me to his guild here on Sea of Thieves, and then he just kind of stopped talking to me after that. So I don't know if I offended him or what the hell is going on. But before I go, just to kill more time, I was thinking about making a video about this. I wanted to make a video about the Sea of Thieves controversy with Bruno and all that shit, but it takes so much energy and time. But if you guys look up Jesse and the Hog Brothers, look up Jesse and the Hog Brothers. So you know how like you see advertisements on Facebook? You see advertisements on Facebook like, "Hey, we'll mail you a CD. Just pay shipping. Just pay shipping. We'll mail you a free CD." Well, if you have to pay for shipping, that's not a free CD. But these motherfuckers over at Jesse and the Hog Brothers from Texas, speaking of Texas, very synchronistic again. Synchronistic, because I was talking about Texas earlier. Texas is the reason that the president's dead. You gotta suck, Jackie, suck. But, anyways, Jesse and the Hog Brothers made a post, and they said, you know how on Facebook you see these bands that post, "Hey, you can get a free CD without shipping." Jesse and the Hog Brothers said, "No, fuck that. You don't have to pay for shipping. Email us your address, and we will send you a free CD for free." And I did that because I opened up for Jesse and the Hog Brothers at again, synchronistically speaking of, I opened up for Jesse and the Hog Brothers at Michiana Education and Arts Club, and it was a fucking blast. Jesse and the Hog Brothers really know how to have a good time, and most of them are sober. And it was still an amazing time, which is very impressive. Just like the old band Desiring Dead Flesh. They were always a good time. Anytime you went to a Desiring Dead Flesh show, it was always a good time. And they were always sober. Oh my gosh. I loved it. I love Jesse and the Hog Brothers. I love Desiring Dead Flesh, which they're all vegans. All of the members in Desiring Dead Flesh are all vegans. I think I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But so the band name Desiring Dead Flesh is hilarious and ironic. But yeah. So Jesse and the Hog Brothers sent me a free CD, and I think that's fucking amazing. I think that's so cool. Especially with how expensive shit is now. It's fucking ridiculous. So we are going to record a brand new, spanking new Crazy Life Stories episode here in about 20, 30 minutes. We have a very special guest. I have enough energy. I'm gonna stay awake. But I'm gonna end this Chautauqua. I'm gonna hop on over to Twitch, and I'm gonna do my finals dailies. I'm gonna try to do my damnedest to get a dub before bed, because I think that would motivate me and get me fired up, and it's also gonna keep me awake, because the finals is a very demanding game. And so this is the Chautauqua. Thank you guys so much. Actually, let me point to you, mother suckers. Actually, no, let me clap to you guys. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I am in my skeevies. It's no trousers hour. Actually, I'm wearing sweatpants in real life, but in Sea of Thieves, I'm in my skeevies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have made it this far, I truly appreciate you. If you want to support the channel, use code BeagleEyeVision without the S at w.gg for 10% off your entire purchase, or you can donate directly to the channel by finding Beagle Eye on Cash App. And I'm sorry, that's the only way that I have. If you want to donate. I appreciate every single penny that comes in. So with that being said, I'm going to drink a grog. And by drink a grog, I mean chug a grog. Right here in the tavern. What is up, Terry? How you doing today, Terry? Looks like you're chewing tobacco. And that's fine with me. Pirates be chewing. But thank you so much. Thank you so much again if you made it this far. My jaw, I'm a little tipsy. So I don't feel my jaw right now, which is very nice. I do feel it. I kind of feel the throb. But I don't feel it at the same time. So I'm going to hop over to the finals. Make sure you find Beagle Eye Visions on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Beagle Eye Visions. That's another way you can support the channel. Go follow me on Twitch, because I only have like 60. It's very interesting how I have 260 subscribers on YouTube. And then on Twitch, I have exactly 60 followers. The numbers are kind of sketchy, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's synchronicity. Maybe it's the algorithms fucking with Beagle Eye Visions. I don't know. But I'm going to hop over to the finals so I can stay awake until Matt Bennett is off of work. He just sent a text message. I'm leaving Slave Land in a few, and he will be headed home. We will record a brand new Crazy Life Stories. I appreciate each and every one of you if you have made it this far. And if you can take any of my advice, read more books. Go buy Drifter Diaries. Read all the books. Don't read just one book. Read all of them. But anyways, it's popping off over there. Yep. But anyways, stay tuned. Stay gold. Beagle Eye Visions. Signing off.